Tommy Reynolds has his gun out. He's pointing the gun, and all of a sudden, I see this woman.
They say it's on every single station. They're saying that Daddy died.
I don't think his life ended at Holston's that night.
If it wasn't for Sopranos, I don't know if I'd be here,
My first thing, and I'm with these legends, De Niro.
One night I jumped out of a car doing 60 miles an hour because I was addicted.
Salute, Mob 2.
Salute, MobTube. How is everybody today? Let's see. M. Soretti, Kurt Franz, Stone Sailor, Sven Larson, Joe Root, Bobby Berberian, Chicken Hawk Lee, Johnny the Butcher, $27.99 Canadian. Thank you very much, Johnny. It's a hell of a way to start the show. Joe Pesci, how you doing, my friend? A huge, huge fan. You have no idea. Let me see who else we got. Miss Can't Be Wrong. I need you here. If you weren't here, I'd be lost. Dexter Morgan, Alana Therese, Kimberly Hogan. Happy Saturday to you, too. Cecil Clanton. Christopher Moltisanti. What's up, bro? Jane Creek, Paul Atkinson. Good to see you guys. 69 people. We'll let it build up a little bit. I know it's Saturday, so, never a guarantee that you're going to get many people, Dollar Bill Will. What's up, bro? Where have you been? I think I had to take your wrench away because you were missing in action. Antonina, how you doing, my friend? So let's see. I was on the phone with Gunsmoke for like the last hour and a half. Chopping it up with him a little bit. And I called Howie for a few minutes. And here I am. We went to my stepson's basketball game today. It was great. They kicked ass. They won. And that's it. Shanna is out doing her thing for a little while. And I figured I'd come on and talk to you guys. Oh, I got you, Dollar Bill Will. 95 people. We're getting up there. Psycho, Argo, Nunya. What's up, bro? Argo, fuck yourself. None of your business. Yeah, I'll just wait till people trickle in, and then I'll get started talking about a whole bunch of different stuff. Now, I'm going to tell you what happened last night. Last night, I was beat. I don't know why. We ate, and I was just falling asleep on the couch. I could not keep my eyes open. Howie called, and he wanted to, defend himself about that ridiculous video that was put up. So I figured, you know what? Let's do a show. Maybe it'll wake me up. Boy, was I wrong. If you watched that show with Howie last night, I couldn't stop yawning. I was exhausted. I crashed almost immediately after that show, and I slept all night. It was beautiful. Got up at 9 o'clock this morning, went to my stepson's game, had a good day. I want to talk a little bit about this Idaho murders thing. And then maybe we'll get to some MobTube business. Or maybe I'll do it the other way around. I'm not sure. Tommy B, what's up? Hey, FBS, it's been a while, but I still watch every show. Thanks. No, thank you, Tommy B. FBS, you looked wiped out last night. I really was. I was. Maybe because me and Shanna were out very late Thursday night. I didn't get much sleep. I don't know, but I was beat. I usually don't get tired like that. Yeah, Joe Pesci, I agree. We are. And, I heard MRE was, well, I'll wait. I'll get into that then because I'm going to start cursing all over the place. Polly wants some peanut butter. What's up, bro? Sick bastard. I'm very chill right now. I'm very calm. You know what I was doing while I was on the phone with Gunsmoke? Shrink wrapping sneakers. Oh, yeah. I'm going to start shrink wrapping everything just because I like doing it. It's fun, you know? But I think I've run out of sneakers to shrink wrap. Well, not actually. I think I have like 7 or 8 more pairs in the attic that are unworn that I have to shrink wrap. But then what? I got to buy more, I guess. I have something to shrink wrap. I don't know. Looking for the truth? Hello. Mob Entertainment Group. How you doing, my friend? I heard there's been some revelation about David Monpass. Is that correct? I didn't get to hear SoFlo's whole show, but it's what it sounded like to me. Oh, the Eagles playing? Lee Cole Super Chat? Calculator? Just shrink wrap everything in the house, FBS. I was going to shrink wrap like Shanna's new laptop. You know what I mean? Like her Uggs. You know what I mean? She tries to put them on and she can't. I was going to shrink wrap like the remotes. All kinds of stuff. It's fun to do. Yeah, I'll go upstairs and shrink wrap my stepson's PlayStation 5. Why not? The fuck? No big deal. Thank you for putting that up, Miss Can't Be Wrong. Yeah, could always use some money. And yesterday, I'll tell you what, Fridays are brutal, man. You don't make no money. I mean, I noticed that a long time ago. It's weird, though. You'd think most people get paid, but no money on Friday. It's crazy. Looking for the truth. I'm so behind in MobTube. I try. I watch a little bit every night when I get home, but shit, so much been going down. I'm way behind. I know. Oh, okay, that's what's up, Lee Cole Super Chat Calculator. So listen, let me get to this Idaho murders thing real quick, okay? And I hate to even do this again because I'm going to sound like a broken fucking record. But first of all, how many of you guys have been following this? Did you hear about this WSU mom that's been going around giving interviews? Do you know about this broad? Because I got to tell you my opinion on her. Oh, that'd be great, Joe Pesci. I'd love to shrink wrap MRE's head. You know what I mean? Just tight as possible around the neck. You'll just see. You know, something like that. Nobody's really keeping up with it. Wait, let me see Casey Robinson's comment. When I used to get pissed at my ex-wife, I tighten the jars in the kitchen and zip tie the scissors and wrap tape around the knives. That's funny as fuck, Casey Robinson. Oh, Paul, I would if I could. So anyway, Steve Moore, how you doing? Good to see you. So this lady who's claiming to be the mother of a student at WSU. And as you know, that's, 15 minutes away from, what is it? U of I think they call it, Idaho University, whatever. Those kids intermingle because I guess Moscow, where the killings took place, is like a big area for restaurants and bars. So a lot of the WSU kids go there. Hence why Brian Kohberger probably ran into Kaylee and Maddie at some point or something and started obsessing on them. He probably hung out in that area too. But here's this this chick now going around. And guys, like Mini 560, I had already listened to her last night, but Mini 560 sent me something today. I believe it was today, with this broad talking too. Now, she's claiming to be a student's mother. And she swears up and down that all these kids were at that house. Well, let me start from the beginning. She swears that, the murders took place between 4 o'clock and 4:20 a.m. And the police weren't called till noon, which we've gone over a million times why that's so bizarre. But this woman is claiming that there was a shit ton of kids at that house as early as 9 or 10 a.m. I think it's 10 a.m. Okay. And they had all gone through the house and seen everything. And this woman claimed that as early as 10 something that morning, her, I think it was her daughter. I might have said son earlier. I think it was her daughter that goes to WSU, according to her. And her daughter had called her and told her everything that had gone on in the house, the extent of the injuries to each victim, all kinds of shit. Which I'm sure you guys find that as hard to believe as I do. I mean, you think you're a young college girl and you walk into that. What are you? You're so calm and collected. You're checking out the bodies like, oh, shit, they really fucked her up. You know what I mean? Like, and then you call your mom and tell her, yeah, Kaylee was stabbed X amount of times and Maddie. This woman, let me just start off by saying this. This woman sounds like a fucking lunatic, okay? You know what she reminds me of? A conspiracy theorist who's pretending to be somebody in the know. You know what I mean? Like a WSU mom. Because she's doing this, I'm pretty sure, anonymously. And she's claiming to be a mother of a student, like I said 15 times already. But nobody knows for sure, as far as I know, if she actually is. But she went on and on about how there was... and guys, if you want to check it out after the show, just go on YouTube and put in WSU mom. And not all of the videos will be about it, but you'll see a few. She goes on to talk about how there was more than one killer. There was at least two killers. And they were in the house, and Dylan and Bethany knew the whole time. And, you know, I don't remember every detail, but she swears there was more than one murderer. She swears that everybody knew these murderers, including the victims, and that they had been lurking outside for a while before they went in the house, all this shit. But she goes on to talk about Greeks because of the fraternities and stuff. And if you're not Greek, you're not allowed to do this. And everything was a conspiracy theory. It was fucking bizarre. And, you know, it's funny because there's a couple of shows that talked about this, where I'd go into the comments and they'd all be like, wow, this woman is so brave. Look what she's revealing to us. And this must be so hard for her. And I'm like, you guys are fucking dumbbells. Like, you'll just believe this woman? Why? And by the way, I think this bitch has already been debunked. I saw somebody do a show the other day. I forget the guy's name. He's a big fat guy. And he has I think he has like 86,000 subs or something. He's not super entertaining, but hey, I guess true crime is easy to build a lot of subs. And he was saying something about how they've already debunked this woman. And basically what content creators are doing now is they'll just say, you know, they'll just call somebody, maybe a friend, whatever, and say, hey, you know, come on the show, pretend to be, you know, a WSU mom or whatever. And you know, just you give your opinions or just make up some story, whatever. Because let's face it, everything's about money. And if you do that, people are so starved for information about this case. And I'm one of them. They're so starved that they will watch anything that they think may be new info that they haven't heard before, simply because the judge placed that gag order. And it's more than likely that we're not going to find out any true, new, legit information until June 26th. So people are starved for information because just like me, everybody's real eager to find out exactly what the fuck happened that night. You know what I mean? And get all the answers. Was he alone? You know, did he commit these crimes by himself? Was anybody else involved in the planning? Did somebody else altogether do it? Why did Dylan and Bethany fucking do nothing when they knew this was taking place in the house? We all want to know the answers. So people are smart enough to know that, hey, as long as I bring somebody on and say that they know some things, my fucking video is going to blow up. And this particular bitch was right. The first person to interview this woman, because now every goddamn show is talking about her interview. That's why I'm not even saying the name of her channel. I don't like people who push bullshit. So you guys can just Google it or YouTube it. I'm sorry. And you'll find, just put in WSU mom Idaho murders or something. You'll get it. I bet she is one of those people that have a spirit box and tells it. And it tells her everything. Yeah, probably. Casey Robinson, $10. Lee's super chat calculator, punch in 10. Thank you very much, Casey. What's up, Jimmy? How are you, my friend? Doubtful the authorities would have missed this during the investigation. Al Chaim Putz. Yes, good point, because she has said that she has told all of this information to the FBI, this WSU mom. She told it all to the FBI, and the FBI is working frantically to investigate all of it. Guys, when you hear it, Shanna, I was playing it last night while we were eating, and even Shanna was catching every fucking thing she said and being like, wait a fucking minute. You know what I mean? I think she even talks about the gloves, and she's trying to make some claim about gloves, and it's a whole bunch of shit. It's very, very long, but she is rambling a mile a minute, so it makes it even harder to understand. She sounds like she's on fucking meth when she's telling the story that she made up. I mean, she sounds like she's high as a fucking kite. You know, Gene Borello was talking on the show yesterday, faster than that. You know what I mean? It was crazy. Timothy Sullivan, how you doing, my friend? She sounds like she's off her tits on something. Oh, you heard it, Trevor? Yeah. Crazy comes out of the woodwork. Yep. Sounds like a fucking complete lunatic. No way there's two killers because that incel would have blabbed. Yeah, I think he wants people to believe that for obvious reasons. This other story was put out about how it was actually the security guard who was getting high with Brian, and Brian left him in the parking lot, and the guy went into the house and killed all these people. I am open-minded to the possibility of there being someone else involved in some way, but I don't know to what extent, and I'm pretty good at picking out bullshit when I hear it. There is a lot of reasonable doubt that can be created out of these different claims and shit, though. You know what I'm saying? Of other people committing the crime, stuff like that. So, I don't know. It's not good. But if you listen to this particular woman, I mean, she sounds like a lunatic. And I'll tell you what else is going on. It really is. Because people are so starved for new information, there's content creators making shit up all the fucking time. All the time. As a matter of fact, even one of people.com's claims was debunked. I'm trying to think which one it was. It wasn't the one about, the DMs. Oh, okay. I think people.com put out that Brian Kohberger had eaten at the Mad Greek restaurant twice. That's where Maddie and Xana worked. Okay. And they put this whole story out. Sure enough, every content creator picked it up. Wow, Brian Kohberger was at the Mad Greek twice. He probably met Kaylee and Maddie there. And what do we find out today? They either did it today or yesterday. The Mad Greek owner came out and said, no, it's bullshit. I never met him. I don't know of him ever being in this restaurant. And they're putting the people at that restaurant through hell. People are going in there just to ask questions and shit. And you know what I mean? It's becoming a little bit too much. I mean, listen, like I said, I am dying to find everything out. But I've accepted that we're just not going to. They're not going to lift this gag order. As a matter of fact, they extended it. They extended it to the attorneys of the families. So in other words, the attorneys representing each victim's family, they're not even allowed to tell us anything. They extended it either yesterday or the day before. So, listen, I've accepted the fact that we're going to have to move on. If we want to talk true crime, it'll probably have to be about another case. And 6 months from now, we'll find out some more. That's all there is to it. But these people are making shit up now to get views and content. They're just making shit up, or they're putting on frauds to make up stories. And it's getting out of hand. They're harassing the shit out of people. I mean, leave people alone. Even Dylan, that fucking idiot, leave her alone. She's an asshole, without a doubt. But, what are you going to do? Harass her? Don't do that. Don't do that. And now they're making it like social media and everything is getting stricter and stricter on that girl, fucking Dylan. Yeah, it's going to get to the point. Watch. YouTube is going to start removing videos and taking channels down for talking negatively about Dylan, because Dylan's the pretty girl who we have to pamper, and we can't say anything bad about her. We can't even point out the fact that she was involved in some sort of crazy shit or something that made her ignore the slaughter that just took place in her house for 8 fucking hours. That's another thing. I forgot. WSU mom, this crazy broad, basically said that this house was a trap house. It was, in fact, a trap house. By the way, while she was saying that, she said she just learned what trap house meant the day before. Okay, yeah. But she's sure of it. This was a trap house. And let me tell you, this is what the woman said. I'm not saying this. This is what the woman said. Crazy WSU mom. The reason it took so long to call the cops is because the house was filled with drugs. So they got up early, like 9 a.m., Dylan and Bethany, and they called all these kids over. And they spent the next couple of hours just cleaning the drugs out of the house so they could finally call the cops. Now, I've said, is there a possibility that maybe Dylan, for a boyfriend, or maybe she just had a little side hustle, pushing some Adderall or some, Xannies or fucking, I don't know, Oxy, Perks, whatever? Is that possible? Sure. Is it to any quantity that she was really scared of calling the cops? Like, let me tell you something. If you got a bag full of pills or something, and there was just a slaughter in your house, first of all, the cops aren't going to be interested. They might be interested in searching your room. They're going to be a little busy first, but you know what? Flush it down the fucking toilet. Like, they're talking like as if Dylan and Bethany were these drug kingpins. This is what this woman's saying, basically, that they had so many drugs in the house that they had to call over a group of friends and take a couple of hours just to clean it all out. If anybody believes that, you're out of your fucking mind. These were 5 college girls who didn't have a blemish on a criminal record. None of them had even gotten in trouble in their youth, from what I understand. And they're not going to fucking put their entire futures on the line to fucking sell drugs. I think all of them came from pretty wealthy families, or at least well off. You know what I mean? They didn't need to do that shit. Now, like I said, we're maybe even each one of them pushing a little something on the side for extra money. Maybe, but very small quantities. I mean, a pill here, a pill there. You know what I'm saying? That's it. So this woman's crazy. I'm telling you, when you listen to her, she's out of her fucking mind. I'm actually trying to decide if I should play it for you right now. Lee Cole Super Chat calculator at Neil S. $10. You got it, Casey. Just put in new batteries in the calculator. I will add an additional 10 as well. Love you guys. Go Birds. Oh, shit. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this lady's fucking, and I can't wait until, they fucking completely and totally debunk her and she gets a little pushback. You know what I'm saying? Timothy Sullivan, does anyone see the crazy look between Brian Laundrie and Kohberger, similar nut jobs? I never even compared the two. After the first Jack the Ripper murder, Scotland Yard received over 200 fake letters taking responsibility. This woman is most likely a fraud trolling. This type of behavior isn't new. No, it certainly isn't. There's always people that want to involve themselves, get their 15 minutes of fame, whatever. And I wish my memory was better, because I would tell you more of what she said, but I'm going to tell you the truth. She was rambling so much. It was so incoherent, and she was speaking so quickly that it was hard to even keep up. Like, it was hard to even understand what she was talking about from one minute to the next. And then when you did understand what she was saying, it sounded like complete lunacy, just, craziness. I've seen the headline saying that he had help. Yeah, well, maybe it's possible. Mini 560, how are you? Because of the gag order, she can basically say whatever she wants, truth or lie. Some people capitalize whenever they can, yeah, because they won't come out and say, nope, that lady's not telling the truth. They won't say anything. I'm telling you, I know that they're doing it for a reason, but this gag order thing is bullshit. When this much of the fucking country is so invested in this case and so interested and concerned and everything else, and there's families out there that want to find out what happened to their children, this gag order is fucking nonsense. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Everything's top fucking secret. And nobody's allowed to speak about it? Come on. I'm telling you, I'm waiting until the real censorship starts, and they're telling us that we're not allowed to speak about it. I'm telling you, take my word for it. It's coming. YouTube is going to make a rule. We are not allowed to speak about this case, or at the very least, we're not allowed to speak about the survivors. Guarantee it. They're going to do it. And you know, a lot of the reason they're going to do it is because of crazy bitches like this WSU mom. That's why, because there are people spreading misinformation. But it's still not right. It's still not right. And then, oh my God. I listened to some, oh my God, these chicks. They might as well have been on Angel's show, Yentas, but super liberal, like bleeding heart liberals, you know what I mean? And they were talking about how terrible it is what's happening to Dylan, how people are questioning why she did what she did and didn't do what she didn't do and everything else. And telling people that they should absolutely stop and YouTube should make them stop. And some guy in the fucking chat said, it's called freedom of speech. And she was like, it's not freedom of speech. It's not. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater, can you? I wish I could have fucking grabbed the link and went on and debated her on that. It's two different things. You're talking about a person who is now beyond their own control or choice, a public figure. This girl Dylan. No matter what anyone says, what she did was pretty fucking egregious. She didn't act after 4 of her roommates were slaughtered. And let me remind you, everybody's saying, oh, that's okay because they were already dead. There's nothing. If she would have called the cops on the spot, there's nothing they could have done to save those people. But here's the thing. Dylan didn't know that. Dylan didn't know that. You understand? In other words, that's just happens to be the circumstance. If it was different and one or all or just a couple, whatever, of those victims were still breathing, they may have been able to be saved. Dylan didn't care. She didn't know they were already dead, but she knew something terrible just happened to them. How did she know? Oh, well, listen, I could just crash for a few hours. They're all dead anyway. You couldn't have known that. You couldn't have known it. It's impossible. Therefore, she took the chance of people dying because of her lack of action, her inaction. She took the chance. So, anyway, this freedom of speech argument, she said, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. Let me explain something to you, dummy. Those two things do not compare. Do you understand? Yelling fire in a crowded theater is illegal because it can cause death and destruction, people getting trampled, all kinds of shit, chaos. You understand? This shit is people simply expressing their opinions about a grown woman. You understand? Not a child, a grown woman. Let's be honest, guys. What were we doing at 19, 20 fucking years old? We were doing grown-up shit, weren't we? We're having sex, doing fucking drugs, drinking, fighting, whatever. We were doing some crazy shit. This generation's even more wild. They just happen to be a bunch of pussies. But you think, you really think a 19-year-old today could really be looked at as a child? I don't know. I don't know. And we're being forced to baby this fucking girl. Why? It's not because she's young. It's because look at her. That's what it's about. You can't pick on the pretty girl. She's a beautiful soul. No. If this bitch looked like Roseanne Barr, you think people would be taking it easy on her? No, it's the way it is. It's the way America works. It's the way the world works. This is a gorgeous fucking young girl. And listen, we are forced to have sympathy for her because of that. And we have to handle her with kid gloves or else we're in the wrong. I don't agree with that. If Dylan would have killed somebody at the same age, if she would have killed those people, would we still be babying her? No. So why can't we fucking express ourselves about what she did, which was fucking sickening? She knew there was chaos going on in the house. She heard Kaylee say someone's in the house. She heard the dog barking. She heard whimpering and crying from her roommates. Then she opens a door and sees a man dressed in all black with a face mask covering his nose and his mouth, who absolutely had to be covered in blood and carrying a knife in his hand because the sheath was in the bed. And she did nothing for 8 fucking hours. And either did the other one. Because let me tell you something. Bethany, she knew what happened. She knew just as much as Dylan knew that, holy fuck, something terrible just happened in this house. And both of them chose to do nothing. And no, I'll never believe that's because the house was filled with drugs. No. If those girls had drugs, it was a minuscule amount, a little tiny bag of Coke, maybe some fucking pills, flush it down the toilet. You know what I'm saying? Walk out back and throw it. Whatever. The cops ain't going to be worried about that. They're going to be worried about the murder victims and who did it. So I don't know, man. I don't know. Let me see. Guys, 175 people. Please don't be afraid to donate. It's been slow. Yesterday was terrible. She didn't call the police. No, she didn't call anyone. She did nothing. Yeah, from the other day. Yeah, Paul, I caught it. It happens at 4 a.m. No police until noon. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Jimmy, I think so. At least surrounding this case. Yeah. That is a joke. See, I'm behind, so I'm not sure exactly what you guys are. Dylan is still alive. Oh, yeah, of course. Dylan and Bethany survived it. They're too healthy looking. What, for the trap house thing? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't doubt if they use drugs. Who the fuck doesn't at that age? And in college, I wouldn't doubt if they smoked some weed, maybe even did some pills, Xanax especially, maybe even some painkillers every now and then. I wouldn't doubt that. But a trap house? Come on, man. Come on. And really, the only reason I even say Dylan might have been hustling a little bit on the side is because I don't know who Dylan's boyfriend is. I think I actually did find him at one point. He didn't appear to be any type of person, who would be doing that, but you never know. You know what I'm saying? You never know. Joey Frakes, $2, trap house in Idaho. Oh, man. They probably exist, but I'm sure they're few and far between. Do you know, I heard something the other day. Idaho itself is like 90% white or something. It might even be more. That's fucking crazy. I didn't even know a place like that existed. Holy shit. Thank you for putting this up, Miss Can't Be Wrong. I appreciate you. No matter what, in all high-profile cases, there will be someone who pops up with misinformation to stir the spot. Of course. Stir the pot. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ, guys. The Sit Down and Crime History Podcast. Have a great weekend. You too, my friend. Let me get down here. Yeah. That's another thing. Yes, Mini 560 has a point. Yeah, and I believe she worked in an environment where there was a lot of blood. It might have been animal blood, but yeah. There's blood has a smell. There's no doubt about it. And you got to remember, Xana and Ethan's room was so soaked in blood, the floor, that it was seeping out the side of the house, down the wall of the foundation. Okay. Not to mention the third floor. I mean, you didn't smell that or anything. You can't tell me that Bethany and Dylan didn't walk around that house, at least when they woke up. You can't tell me they didn't walk around the house and see all the bodies. And if they did, it's bad enough that they waited even that long, but that would be a good time to call the police immediately. But even then they didn't. They waited till noon. And I know that they were up long before that because they had a lot of friends over. I believe somebody said that one police officer said that he was greeted by a sea of people when he got to the murder scene. They called friends and more friends and more friends. That's why this WSU mom is saying her daughter knows everything, because apparently her daughter was there as early as 9 or 10 a.m. Junior Lollipops, what's up, my man? She heard a thump, too. Yeah, she did, of course. Which, unfortunately, was probably Xana hitting the floor, because that's where they found her. Oh, shit. Hold on, guys. Forgot I got to plug my phone in. I'm trying to get a new phone. I was going to get one today, but I called both AT&Ts, and they didn't have them in stock. I got to get a fucking... I got to get like the S22 Ultra with the 512 gigs or something, because I just don't have enough space on my fucking phone. She's a clueless adult woman and deserves all of the criticism in the world because of her failure to act. Absolutely. And like I said, if she wasn't who she is, if she wasn't a gorgeous young girl, we would not be treating her this way. It's unbelievable. I'm telling you, the bias. Nancy Grace is a good example. Look what this bitch has caused. This fucking animal, Nancy Grace, who I hate with a fucking passion. I call her Nancy Disgrace. This bitch caused 2 fucking people to kill themselves. Innocent people to commit suicide because she fucking abused them nonstop when they were innocent of the things she was accusing them of. But Dylan, it's like, no. We don't talk about Dylan. Okay. I'm telling you, if that was a guy, if that was a male, Nancy Grace would be eating him alive for not acting. But we got to coddle the fucking poor young girl. She's a victim too. Is she? To an extent, sure. But is she really a victim? No, the 4 victims are dead. And those are the people that Dylan fucking ignored completely and just went to sleep right after all 4 of them were slaughtered. How do you go to sleep? And all this, oh, she was high. Okay, I've been high. I've been very high. I've been drunk. In a situation like that, you sober up pretty fucking quickly. You know what I mean? She just went to sleep. Please. Yeah, without a doubt, looking for the truth. What explanation has been put forth by her representative? Has there been any attempt to explain the delay? Nope. None. Just for whatever reason, Dylan decided, after she saw the killer face to face, it's better off I just go to sleep and just wait on this, you know? This WSU mom said that her daughter, either she asked her daughter why Dylan didn't call the police, Dylan and Bethany, or her daughter had asked them directly. But either way, the answer was, I don't know. That's Dylan and Bethany. Why didn't you call the police? I don't know. So, yeah, that too, Miss Can't Be Wrong. You can. Cy Loren, what's up, my friend? Oh, look, my beautiful wife, Shanna, who I love so much. It's still her birthday weekend, guys. I am giving her the whole weekend. Oh, man. And last night, man, we bought all new bedding and shit for the beds, new comforters and everything. Oh, I slept so good last night. 8 hours later, you would really smell the death, without a doubt. Who fucking cares if you had drugs? College, it's expected. 4 people got murdered. Priority. This girl was a pretty version of Lee Cole. Cover your own ass. Pretty much. Ryan Morrison, 449. Salute to you and Gunsmoke. Thank you, Ryan. Deaf more than 99% white. Yeah, wow. They might. I want to say that I honestly think I heard them say 99% white, but I can't imagine that being possible. I mean, I'm going to actually Google this right now because, wow. Because why didn't MRE and Lee Cole move there? I mean, I would think it'd be their fucking heaven, their dream come true. Look at this. Trying to get to the exact numbers. I got this article. All I could see, it said by the 1920s, it was nearly 99% white. And I'm trying to find, I don't know, this fucking article's a mile long. Wait a minute. This says 81.4. I don't know. Who knows? Doesn't really matter. Just be an interesting Snapple fact, you know? Is that the WSU mom? I'm not sure. These last few days have been crazy, man. What a mob tube week. Like, you guys don't even know because this is the way I am. Like, I am, if I have a conversation with someone, it could be a very important person who's also on YouTube or whatever. It's just me not to tell anyone because I don't know if that person wants people to know that we spoke. You know what I mean? But I had a very interesting conversation with somebody I never thought I'd end up speaking to. And then the Gene Borello stuff yesterday, the Howie stuff last night, the Angel thing, you know, finally some sort of agreement to stop talking about each other's families. Busy days. Maybe that's why I was so fucking exhausted last night because I've been nonstop on the phone and everything else for like 3 or 4 days. And then Shanna's birthday, you know what I mean? Let me see. She is saying it was sent to the fraternity and everyone was told. Yeah. I remember her saying something like that, but what was sent to the fraternity? Just the information? They were saying that BK was liking pictures only on Maddie's Instagram. If that's true, that means she was the target. Well, I'll tell you what. They're going around saying now that there was only one real Brian Kohberger Instagram, and it was crim.kohberger. But here's the thing. I'm telling you, what I showed you the other day, this picture right here. Right here. Now that's the Instagram I found. I only found that he was following Maddie and Kaylee. I didn't find Xana. Right now, I found this hours after he was arrested, not days. All those fake accounts and shit weren't really up yet. And if you look right underneath the circle, there's Amanda Kohberger. That's his sister. I can't remember his other sister's name, but she was also following him and I believe his mother. And I did check their pages. They were not newly created. They had been there for a long time. They all had a lot of followers and were following a lot of people. So I don't believe that this was a fake account by any means, but you could see this was Brian Christopher Kohberger. Okay. So I believe this one was real. And they're saying, no, there was only one real one, crim.kohberger. Well, why the fuck would his family be following this account? And I told you, those accounts of his families, they're still there, and they're not new. Right, so it's not like, oh, well, maybe people were pretending to be his family and they followed him. No, I don't believe that for a second. This is from hours after he got caught. So, I don't know, man. Let me see here. Oh, shit, what happened? Oh, fuck me. Wait a minute, guys. Hello, my beautiful. I hope you're having fun. Oh, Miss Can't Be Wrong put up fuck did it go? Put up Shanna's Cash App. Yes, we finally got it right. 8340. Yep. If anybody wants to send Shanna some Christmas cash, feel free. There's her Cash App. Damn, man, I feel like I fucking lost my spot. Hold on. Oh, yeah, that thing. So, yeah, but I don't know. I don't know if he liked pictures, from that account. I didn't look into that one that I found, but that's what they're saying. I don't know. But I wouldn't be surprised. There's no doubt he was following at least Maddie and Kaylee. And guys, listen, I still believe, I know a lot of people are saying, no, it wasn't about Kaylee. That's what they're saying now. You can't convince me of that. You can't convince me of that for a lot of reasons. I'm telling you, this whole thing was about Kaylee specifically. Maddie too, maybe. But I think more than likely he went there to kill one person and he wound up killing 4 because of circumstances he didn't expect. I think he came down the stairs and ran into Xana. I really do. After he killed Maddie and Kaylee. She was either in that living room area or in the kitchen or something. I believe he chased her into her room and killed her, and then Ethan just happened to be there. And from what it sounds like, from what I've been hearing as far as injuries go and stuff, it's pretty evident that him and Ethan went at it for a while. You know what I mean? Ethan was a big kid. He was not a little guy. He's tall as a motherfucker. You know what I mean? He's muscular. He's a big kid. So they might have had a little wrestling match. Listen, when the guy holding a big-ass K-bar is always going to win, unfortunately. Not always, but usually. This case is so strange. How do you not call the police ASAP? I know. It's so bizarre, and that's why people are so fucking puzzled by it. It's like, what went on in that fucking house? We don't know anything. Like, look, I just gave my opinion, but we don't know. For all we know, he was targeting Ethan. It could be anything. We have no idea. We don't know why the fucking the survivors failed to act on anything, and I can't think of a possible explanation for that I would say, oh, okay, that makes sense. Not one in the whole world. I can't. So, I don't know. We just don't know anything, and it's making people crazy. Yeah, I agree. Polly wants some peanut butter. Let me get back down here now. Yeah, BK's sister did star in a slasher movie. Yeah, about college kids being killed, I believe. I certainly hope so, Paul Atkinson. I need a good year. I can't lie, though. 2022 was good to me, man. Great fucking year. Great year. Yes, they do, Brian Miller. Yep. Even Hispanics count as white. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean, Puerto Rican and Dominican and shit like that. Just there are white Hispanics from Spain. So well, the other option is he took it out on Kaylee because she was in bed with Kaylee and it pissed him off. Oh, Maddie, you mean if he wanted Maddie? Yeah, I know. I just feel like because of the timing, because of the fact that Maddie had already moved out and she was just there for the weekend. I just feel like it was about Kaylee. And other reasons. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a man. I look at all those girls in the house and I see Kaylee and I say, she's the one that stands out the most. You know what I mean? At least of the victims. Of the victims, Kaylee is obviously the most beautiful one. And I think this guy 100% is an incel. And everybody's agreeing. And I want to take fucking credit because let me tell you something. That show I did on December 26th, nobody was saying that shit. And I called it. And now everybody's saying he was an incel. They're finding out about his, I think they said something about he had a girlfriend in middle school or something. Not a girlfriend. He wanted her. She didn't want nothing to do with him. And he would constantly stick letters in her locker and was always fucking bothering her. He's an incel. You know what I mean? That's all there is to it. Oh, the sit down. It was great, man. We had a hell of a fucking time. We went to the casino for a long time, probably 5-6 hours. We did good, though. We were kicking fucking ass. We were doing very good. It was a good night, but we came home very late. You know what I mean? But we hadn't been to the casino in a couple of months, and we thought, why not? We got some free time. We don't drink or anything, guys, so going to a bar or something like that is not an option. You know what I mean? We had a lot of fun, and then yesterday too was a good day, and today is going to be as well. I started off the day with my stepson and his team kicking ass in his basketball game. Let's see. Look at the guy. He is creepy as fuck looking. Yeah, he is. He is. 156 people. Everybody hit the like button, please, so a fat hillbilly rat scumbag in Texas doesn't pick on me and make fun of me. Let me just see something, guys, because I might play you a little bit of this wacky bitch talking, because I think you guys will find it interesting. I didn't plan on doing this much of the show about the Idaho murders, but otherwise I would have had it prepared. But Antonino, $10. Happy Saturday, FBS Antonino. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you. I could use as many donations as possible right now. I hate having these terrible weekends. It's rough. Mini 560. She did say she had the feeling of the person following her. Kaylee, she talked about it to her parents at the grocery store, watching her at the self checkout. Yes, I believe that we are going to find out that Brian Kohberger was stalking Kaylee. I believe that 100%. Not Maddie, not Xana, Kaylee. I'm telling you, guys, watch. You'll see. That's what'll happen. Yeah, Paul, absolutely. Wait a minute, hold on, let me read some. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, Ryan Morrison, yeah. Give me a second, guys. Let me look up this, let me see if there's highlights of this fucking lunatic. And I'll play it and I'll absolutely comment on it. But guys, do me a favor. Let's get some donations going, especially new people who don't usually donate. Hook your boy up. That's the only thing that makes these shows worth it. Give me a second. Let me check something out. Yeah, unfortunately, all the videos I could find right now, there's no original video of it. It's all on somebody's show. You know what I mean? It's not like they just play the call. It premiered on I guess you could say premiered. In other words, it originated from a channel. I can't remember the girl's name, but like I said, I wouldn't shout it out anyway. And she was interviewing this girl. You know what I mean? Woman, whatever. And, it spread from there. But you guys could check it out after the show. It's fucking insane. You couldn't find WSU, Mom? Here, watch. WSU Mom, Idaho murders. Okay, I think this is the original one. Let me see. Maybe I will play it. Ryan Morrison, thank you so much, bro. Oh, yeah. My father would spit on me if he knew that I sat next to a neo-Nazi rat scumbag and a loudmouth bitch from Scranton, and I disgraced myself every night talking about good people and making an ass out of myself. I'm humiliating myself and my entire family, and my father would be disgusted by that, but I still love him. I think he's beautiful. All right. Let me see. Oh, did you, FBI? Hold on. I ain't missing shit. Wait a minute. Oh, FBI. No. I think I read that one. If not, I'm sorry. 199 super sticker. Thank you. Ryan Morrison. Oh, Ryan Morrison, I think I got. Oh, did I miss that? I don't know. Ryan Morrison, 449. Salute to you and Gunsmoke. Thank you very much. But I'm almost positive I read that. You guys take advantage of my bad fucking memory. Hold on. Let me see if this is it. Maybe I could play it. All right, guys, I'll play you some of this. Now, this is apparently it originated. I'll just say it. Fuck it, I shouldn't, but from a show called The Drunk Turkey. Yeah, and then this girl, I won't shout out her channel. Well, yeah, I guess I will because I'm using her content. Chronicles of Olivia. Okay, this is her channel, Chronicles of Olivia. This is the first one I heard this insane fucking interview on. So I'll play you what I can. Here we go.
Kim originally called into the Drunk Turkey show, and they did a good job of vetting her.
There was certain validation that needed to be done. Now, the person that called us in stated that she had a daughter and a son
I don't believe that
attended WSU, and they had friends and a roommate that were close to the situation.
I called the FBI on the 13th, actually.
There she is.
Because I knew my daughter received the text. That is all true. She had received the text by 10 a.m.
Kim mentioned to me that she talks very fast. So let's be nice in the comments section.
Yeah.
You can slow down the speed of this video if
She
you
certainly does.
Also, for privacy reasons, I bleeped out certain names we talked about.
And one of the girls who sent it to her, her boyfriend plays football for UI, and supposedly he had spent the night at my daughter's house, but again, we were in a hotel in Pullman.
Mm-hmm.
I never saw him. I never saw. So, but
They
then
bleep out a lot of shit.
5 o'clock when we got the alert on the way home, she knew everything that had happened, and down to like the injuries and where the kids were, and that Dylan and Bethany were in the downstairs room. They knew the guys who were there. It wasn't just one. They knew who they were. There was a lot.
So see, she's already starting. Dylan and Bethany were downstairs. They knew the guys, meaning the killers. She said, and there was more than one. Obviously, she said guys.
A loud noise, and they locked themselves in their rooms and went to sleep. I said, or we're hiding, whatever. But I said, why didn't they call the police? She goes, I don't know. I'm like,
yeah,
I just really
I don't know.
Can't get my head around that. And I know you're frightened, but they were not terrified. Like what the police report said at the probable cause warnings is not what these kids were all told.
Yeah.
It's not. And one of the girls, even on 2020, said, I think it was a girl, I'm not sure, in the black sweater, blue sweater, said, texted Janet in the morning, and I didn't hear back. Police weren't called till noon.
Wow.
They were there.
She said she texted, I guess, whoever, her daughter, whatever, texted Xana in the morning and didn't get a call back.
And they were there early on. And what I've been told by the FBI is that they're aggressively investigating everything I've told them. So I do think they do know. I do think they're going to make more arrests. But I do think that Kaylee's, at least her father, should know. Give him answers. He needs them. I know the condition of Kaylee's body and Maddie's. Crushes my soul for him, and I just can't even
think about that. Like, I think she goes on to say why, and I believe it's because apparently all these friends that were at the house were just running around the fucking house looking at things. I mean, I can't imagine that. And if so, what the fuck? If you were doing that at 10 a.m. and the police didn't get called till noon, what do we got? A bunch of Dylan and Bethany's who were just like, fuck it, we'll give it time. Let me smoke a cigarette first, eat a couple sandwiches, and, take a shower. And then we'll call the police. What the fuck is going on at this house?
take away that pain. Like, who does that? Yeah. Who does that?
That all happened and the roommates were just asleep.
They weren't asleep. They were awake. They heard it all. They knew who it was. And I don't know in the translation if there saw 3 people inside and 1 outside watching, or 2 people inside and 1 outside watching. So from what I've been able to boil down and get pieces together from what I know, and I think Wazoo's involved too. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not just saying U of I. Those schools are involved. And not just because he was a teacher there. How did he get vetted?
By the way, I just got a notification for 10 to Life, Annie Elise. She is doing, or she dropped the video maybe on Elliot Rodger. And that's another thing I want to bring up, not to toot my own horn. But guys, go back to my first video about the Idaho murders, December 26th. And what did I say? When I said incels, I said this fucking Elliot Rodger. This guy reminds me of Elliot Rodger. And sure enough, now everybody's saying Elliot Rodger, without a doubt. Hold on.
Who is vetting him to be a teacher in classroom 12 and my kid's sitting in classroom 13? Who's doing that? And I stand behind everything I say, and I've said everything to the FBI immediately. When I discovered a lie, I called the FBI and told them the lie. I have called the schools. I'm working right now on having Greek Girl suspended. My kid loves Greek Row. She loves it. But it is so out of
Greek
control.
Row.
Well, 10 kids have died since last
Greek Row is obviously like where the house is. It's all the fraternity and sorority houses, Every college has them.
What, February?
10
that I know.
At which
at U of I. After San Martinez died, made sure the kids were very, very aware of the Good Samaritan rule, which means we don't care what state you're in of inebriation or whatever you're doing. You are calling in on somebody who's in real peril. We're not even going to look at you. We're going to say thank you and not even take your name. Right? That's what the Good Sam was.
Yeah, and I wonder if they got the Good Samaritan law in Idaho. Is that a federal law, or is that it goes state by state? Because if so, why the fuck weren't they penalized? Why weren't they charged in some way? Dylan and Bethany, why? Again, we know why, right? Let's be honest.
I said Moscow had it too, but I don't know about that. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why the kids aren't. I feel like they were just trying to exercise their power at the beginning of the school year. And you're right. Likely, they put a block. Yes. Mm-hmm. That could have been. I want to believe that Dylan did and Bethany did everything they possibly could. And none of these kids did anything wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know that I believe that, but
it's just so weird that was it 8 a.m. that the first phone call was made to sorority sisters at Pi Beta Phi? So from 8 o'clock till 11:58, that's literally 4 hours.
Oh, I was wrong. It was 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. And 4 hours until the fucking police were called.
Of time that
correct.
Goes by.
Right. And if she was awake, like she says, that was 8 hours, and she heard all of that.
So with the do you know for sure that is what the phone calls were about when the roommates called at 8 a.m. and
I think what I heard, and I'm not sure which of the girls said it, was they were getting rid of everything in the house. They were cleaning the house, which would explain the van shoe print. Because I'm almost 100% sure that TA guy doesn't wear Vans.
Yeah. She thinks this woman's a fucking moron. You know the Vans footprint outside of Dylan's door? Well, she's convinced that was one of the people cleaning out the house. It was their footprint because, as he just said, I don't believe that BK wore Vans. This fucking dummy, and she'll go on to talk more about this, doesn't realize how popular those fucking sneakers are. And to be honest, I could absolutely see Brian Kohberger wearing them. You know what I mean? Especially college kids and shit. Vans for the last few years. Are you kidding me? It's a very commonly worn sneaker. Stupid ass. I couldn't possibly see BK wearing Vans. Why? What do you mean, why? He was a fucking geek. I mean, what do you mean? Hold on. What up, Chris Capello? How you doing, my friend? Junior Lollipops. Had the roommate's name been Tyrone, they would have been smashing him like BK, but it's an all-American girl. She's a victim. Yes, sir. Joe Caps, we're listening to an insane woman who claims to be the mother of two students, actually. It said a son and a daughter that go to WSU, which is right near, Idaho University, where, we're very close to where the murders took place. And she's giving her story, and it sounds insane. Bro, Chris Capello, thank you so much. $30 for enjoy your weekend, bro. I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Chris Capello, man, is a great guy. I'm telling you, he always looks out for me in Gunsmoke. I would love, though, to see some new people who've never donated before. Please donate. We can't rely on the same people all the time. They can't do it all the time. Here we go.
Kids, wear Vans. Come on, right? And then to say that Murphy was found in the bedroom with Kaylee but didn't have a speck of blood on him. Are you kidding me? The smell would have just bowled you over.
What the fuck did she just say? Did she say Murphy was found in the bed with Kaylee but didn't have a speck of blood on him? Where the fuck did that come from? Wasn't Murphy locked in Kaylee's old bedroom? And Maddie and Kaylee were in Maddie's room? Where did this? I never heard this before. Minnie, did you ever hear that? That Murphy was running around and was in the fucking bed with Kaylee and Maddie? What?
Thing is, I mean, to get rid of, it's like it doesn't take 4 hours. So
yeah,
it's like,
so I don't know. They were coming up. I think they were coming up with a narrative because the narrative that was sent to my daughter at around 10 in the morning.
10 in the morning.
It was that 4 students were Pi Phis. I think they grouped Kaylee into that Pi Phi group. They didn't, because she's an AP. Because I remember the girls saying, that's weird that an AP and a Pi Phi is living together. And they said, well, schools are different. I don't know. Maybe one of them dropped or something. I don't know. And I don't know Greek. I went to Central Washington University. We didn't have Greek there. But so anyways, they said that they were stabbed to death, and they said about Bethany's injuries.
You fucking believe this with this YouTube? She basically had to bleep out stabbed and death, and she bleeps out blood and all types of stuff throughout this. I mean, are you fucking kidding me? We can't say murder or death or stabbed or gun or any of this shit, because that's another thing they bleep out a lot. We can't say these words. These are bad words all of a sudden. Listen, I love YouTube for giving me this opportunity, but this is getting out of fucking control. For real. Like, come on now. That's a bad word? They won't monetize your video if you say those words? Are you fucking serious? I got to tell you something, guys. You know the way I talk on here, right? This is why I'm puzzled by shit like this. The way I speak on here, every fucking single video, except for, one every now and then, eventually gets monetized, fully monetized. So what are they so scared of? Because if this is really how YouTube handles things, I don't know. We talk about all types of violent shit on here and use a lot of bad words, and I rarely ever get turned down for monetization. You know what gets me turned down? The C word, C-U, stuff like that. If you use the F word, F-A-G, not fuck, things like that. I think even the R word, and by R word, that one too, the rape, okay? But the R word you might use to describe cane shades, that'll get you in trouble. But I don't know the shit they have to bleep out and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, well, I don't know. I don't know. It's getting bad. The dog would have blood everywhere if it was in there. Of course, yeah. I guess, but I mean, these words are said on TV all the time, on network TV. So I don't know. Let's get back to this real quick.
And
Wait, whose injuries? Bethany?
not Bethany, I'm sorry, about Maddie's injuries.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know their injuries or not.
Mm-hmm.
But
Another thing
they all knew that.
that's interesting because from what I had heard was the kid that discovered the bodies. But from what you're telling me, it seems like multiple people knew about the injuries before the so-called person. So that's not true then.
So he might have been called over. See, I can't imagine that Hunter Chapin would have not immediately called 911.
Part is really confusing.
Because I know there were guys there as well.
So you know for sure there were other guys that stayed overnight?
I do know that there were other guys.
Now, I know some of this is hard for you guys to catch, but I believe what she's saying here is that Hunter Chapin, that would be Ethan's brother, because Ethan was a triplet. He had another brother and a sister. I believe she's saying that Hunter Chapin was even there as early as the rest of the kids. And he didn't do anything either. I have a hard fucking time believing that. A very hard time.
I thought told me that he was a triplet and that his brother was there.
Hunter Chapin, yeah, he was.
Yeah, so he was there. And in fact, he's the one who told his parents said on the TV. So I assume that's the facts. That's true. So the police clearly weren't there yet. And everybody was told by the kids, not the police, which, right, all these kids are there first. So the first call. So when my daughter, and I know that, here's what I do know for certain. When we dropped my daughter off to her house, before we went to the hotel, it was like about 12-ish. I hadn't seen her all day, or her boyfriend. But then when we went and picked her up for breakfast, it was probably
I guess she's bleeping out her daughter's name. I'm not sure.
8, 9. Still wasn't there. We went in. At some point, she was either there or she wasn't. The girls and
I think she might be bleeping out Dylan.
And I kept saying again, why didn't they call the police? She's like, I don't know, Mom, because it's a party house. I don't know why.
It's a party house.
That's why. And that's kind of where that feedback comes from. I mean, and I said, have you been there? And she goes, well, no, Mom. I haven't been there, but a lot of people do. I mean, they're cool. Like, and I said, how do you know? Do you even know them? She goes, well, she knows Xana's sister. Jasmine goes to school at WSU. So she, and Xana's sister Jasmine is Greek too. I don't know how she's in them, but they're friends on social media with. I don't even know if she is with the kids over there. But really good friends with Pi-Fi's and really good friends with. She's a sorority sister. So, and that's where it came from. And then when charging documents or whatever came out here, she came down from. She woken up and I said, look at what they said and showed her. She says, that's not what happened. And it was so absolutely organic that
it's so hard to even keep track of this woman. It really is. That's why I wish I could fast forward to the important parts. I don't know how much more I want to play. I'm going to play a little bit more and see if there's anything good. I don't want to bore you guys, and you could always go listen to it. You know what I mean? This channel, Chronicles of Olivia, she has it. So
I have no reason not to believe that's what she truly believes, and that's the narrative she knew. So they were given a narrative. A whole bunch of kids were given a narrative by the kids that were there. Maybe received the text, wasn't present, but received the text from somebody in Pi-Fi, and then she distributed it, and other people did as well. That's why.
Yeah, they're saying that the kids that were there, that came there early in the morning, were given a narrative by Dylan and Bethany. You know what I'm saying? Of what to say to the police and all that shit, which is possible. It's possible, but still, I don't see the real need for it. I mean, again, what's the worst they could say? Dylan and Bethany could say, "Oh my God, we were high on fucking Molly and Xanax and Adderall and blah blah blah." What are you think the cops are going to give a fuck? First of all, there's no law against doing drugs, just possessing or selling them. You can walk up to a cop and say, "Bro, I'm fucked up on crack right now," and they'll say, "What do you want me to do? You need an ambulance? If not, leave me alone." You know what I'm saying? There's nothing they're going to do to you. There's nothing illegal about having drugs in your system unless you're driving or something. So what the fuck? Why would they have to provide a narrative? I don't understand. That's another reason I think this woman is just out of her mind, just making this shit up.
All the kids know it's a different story.
The importance in this is that she got a phone call from.
Okay, so that's the woman's daughter's name.
Pi Beta Phi.
Yes, that's exactly right. I don't know what format the communication was in. I believe it was Snapchats. The problem, a lot of the problems with this investigation is it's Snapchats. And
so basically, she's saying that the girls called the sorority house and informed them first thing in the morning. And then the sorority house was informing the other, the girls, the sorority members, whatever. Right, so they were finding out about this early, and then they were going to the house to check it out.
if you weave your way back through the Venmos, because if you're not Greek, you can't go on Greek Row, especially if you're a guy. So I do think that I know they do it at PICAPS at WSU. They infiltrate or they get a hold of somebody who will and sell for them on campus. Like Brian couldn't go to the Sigma Chi house. He's not a Sigma Chi. Only girls can go after 10 o'clock, at least at WSU anyway. But you don't.
Thank you, Chris Capello. I'm doing my best.
Because athletes aren't supposed to be, and my son's an athlete. Athletes, it's really, really frowned upon for them to be our Greek.
I'm gonna fast forward a little bit.
Because I'm looking. No, I didn't. The first time I thought, you're just being tragic, Kim. Just look again. Like I'm just wanting to see them being bad. But then I'm looking like, no, they're lying. They have created a narrative to protect something or somebody or themselves.
She's talking about Dylan and Bethany.
Are feeding it around, and what they're realizing is they're putting themselves in so much more danger. And there's families who could go years with never finding out what really happened. Wow. I do think that Brian was a mastermind. I do not believe he was alone because the information first given to my daughter was that there were 3 people there.
Okay. So she thinks Brian is the mastermind. He was not alone. And she just said the information first given to her daughter is that there were 3 people there. I believe at one point she said 2 inside and 1 lookout outside or something. No fucking way. I'm telling you guys right now, there's no way. 2 people, I guess it's a possibility. I doubt it. But 3 people? Nah, bro. And then I think she says at one point, and the only reason I'm I can't play this whole fucking thing. So I'm telling you certain things that were said. She said at one point, I believe, that Dylan and Bethany had even seen the people, meaning the killers, outside the window. That would mean they were outside. I'm assuming before the murders. Again, I don't believe this. You know what I mean? I don't think they saw them outside. I don't know. But she says a lot of Looney Tunes shit. Let me get back to it.
3 p.m. And this was at what time?
Sorry, guys. You probably thought YouTube removed me for this content right now. I'm good. I just hit the wrong button.
Mastermind. I do not believe he was alone because the information first given to my daughter was that there were 3 people there.
3 p.m. And this was at what time with 3 people there? At 8 in the morning or at night?
When the murders happened, but
around 4 in the morning.
Maybe Dylan thought they were just going to be shaking them up for the money.
So the 3 people standing outside.
Again with the trap house theory, yeah, those girls had so much money that somebody was coming to shake them down for it. Fucking insane.
Was at 4 in the morning, and 1 was a creepy guy. I think I remember hearing that 1 was creepy.
Yeah, they just call him the creeper. There's a lot of creepers that hang out there. I don't know. I think there's more questions to be asked. Mm-hmm. So my detector test to be taken.
Dave, yeah, according to her, she has a daughter and a son who go to WSU.
No, they don't hold up in court, but they certainly work well to get, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the only one who passed one is that Brian because he's such a sociopath.
And when Brian was arrested, the first thing Brian said was, "Oh, was anyone else arrested?"
Well, what I do think is the reason he wanted to be extradited so quickly is because he's got something. He knows every single thing that these kids have done. When they felt like they were being watched, stalked, they were being watched. They were being watched diligently. I believe he's been in that house before. I think my understanding is he had been in the house, but it was a creeper, and they kicked him to the curb and wasn't allowed to come back. That is what I think happened like a few weeks prior, and I've told the police that, and that is because I've gotten that from the girls, because if they're not partying there and they're just getting this narrative from, but it's still really the towns are pretty small together, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty connected. So it's like being on the same campus. It's just 5 miles apart, right?
Mm-hmm. So your daughter mentioned that a few weeks prior, someone was kicked out. That was a creeper. Like, is that something you heard from your daughter?
She just thinks she doesn't. She was told it was the creeper, and people would come to buy there, and they were like this 30-year-old. It's like they're like 25 to 30-year-olds that don't belong in college that have record. And it took me forever to get the police. I called every day for almost a month. And I do know a mom tried every day for 15 days. She had spoken with Ethan at 2, or her son had texted Ethan at 2 in the morning. He was at Ethan's memorial service. They were good friends. Ethan had texted him at 2 in the morning. She knew, so this kid knew where he was at 2 a.m. And it took like 15 days, she said, to get somebody to call them back. They were so buried. And so I just called every day. And when I called the president of UI, because I thought I'm just going to call him, because I'm not hearing back, and I need to know my information. I don't need to know what's going on. I need you to know what I know.
See, now, apparently, it sounds to me like she's not saying it this way, but I can read through bullshit. The fucking police were ignoring her, probably because she's out of her mind. You know what I mean? They were just like, okay, because they got a million lunatics giving them bullshit information. I'm telling you, this woman sounds like a fucking conspiracy theorist, okay, who just puts this crazy shit together in her head and comes up with some fucked up theory. And now she's trying to get a little bit of fame off of it or just get her word out. But I don't think this should be taken seriously. I really don't. As soon as you say that house was a trap house, I'm done listening. It's fucking ridiculous.
Because I do believe it. I think it's relevant. And why would I make it up? I mean, or why would my kid make it up?
Yeah, no, and the fact that there's multiple kids who experienced that, it's not just your daughter making this up. There's like multiple kids that got the phone call.
It's a rabbit hole sometimes when you're not getting anything from the police and you know things aren't adding up. I mean, 1 and 1 is making 12. Come on.
1 and 1 is making 12. Now, I do believe there may have been some sort of text put out by Dylan and Bethany. I do believe that. You know what I mean? That maybe her daughter did get some sort of text. That part, sure, why not? Because these girls, both of them seem to be fucking airheads or something. Who knows? Or maybe they really did need help doing something at the house. I don't know. But I believe they notified people before they called the cops.
It has to balance out. It has to make sense. And I can't help but think if I was a parent, I'd be thinking nothing is making sense. And it's being taken all these places where probably it's just the simplest explanation is usually the explanation, right?
Occam's razor.
But there's a lot of things in it, a lot of lying. And these kids are lying like crazy. I can't believe they let them come home for Christmas. And that's what I said to them. I said, are you seriously sending my kid home for Christmas? I know I lose here, but if they're Greek on either campus, you keep them there.
Did you hear this? She can't believe they sent the kids home for Christmas. Then she said, if they're Greek, you keep them there. Listen to that again.
Home for Christmas. And that's what I said to them. I said, are you seriously sending my kid home for Christmas? I know I lose here, but if they're Greek on either campus, you keep them there.
If they're Greek on either campus, you keep them there. What the fuck is she talking about? What is she talking about? If you're Greek, you keep them there? What does that mean? And she's pissed off they're sending her fucking son home for Christmas. What? Why? Because he's Greek? I don't even understand. What does this mean? What do you mean? Do you mean actually Greek or you mean considered Greek because of the fraternity? Well, what is going on here? Help me. My fucking head's going to explode. What is this bitch talking about? I'm telling you, anybody who's taking her fucking seriously, you're as crazy as she is.
SWAT the guy December 15th.
Yeah.
Oh, this is good. Listen to
And
this.
that's what I said to them. I said, are you seriously sending my kid home for Christmas? I know I lose here, but if they're Greek on either campus, you keep them there. SWAT the guy December 15th.
See, she had to silence the word killed. SWAT killed a guy on December 15th. That's what she's trying to say.
Brent Kopaka.
This is why, guys, this is why I say I rely on super chats and donations, because otherwise this is what my show would be like. Imagine FBS and Tony Sobflow and Gunsmoke. If we can't curse, we can't say the word kill, death, gun, knife, blood. Imagine what it would be like. This is why ad revenue, let Lee Cole work on that. I already know better. There's no fucking money coming from it. Otherwise, this is how I got to conduct my show. I got to bleep the word kill. Are you fucking kidding me? Dave, $5. She is completely nuts. Yes, she is. And thank you for the $5. Let's hear more from this wacko broad.
So my son, he came downstairs the day that the affidavit came out with the probable cause, and he said, Mom, the map doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work. Wazoo is a walking campus. I think Moscow's you walk a lot in Moscow too, but so they know the roads and they know all of those things and where their phones work. And there's really no range in Pullman. I mean, there's more range in Moscow truly than there is in Pullman, but he spent like 15 to 20 minutes outside of the apartment where that guy was shot, where he supposedly lived, at the Coffee House Apartments. What was he doing there? Was he picking him up? And I don't think he worked for Pullman's. He was security. I thought he worked in tech at UI Tech.
Okay. Now, what she's saying here, she's talking about the security guard theory. The theory they're trying to float that, or at least a possible relative of Brian Kohberger's is trying to float. Basically, they're saying that the security guard who was killed on December 15th by SWAT, okay, a WSU student and a security guard, was friends with Brian, and they were doing drugs together, and they would get drugs from either the murder house or one of the houses near it. Okay, so they were always in that area because they're trying to explain the 12 pings from Brian's cell phone prior to the murders. You know what I mean? That's what they're using that for. They're saying that the security guard and Brian were in the parking lot doing drugs. And they were using the knife, both of them, to cut up lines. That's how Brian's DNA got on it, right? And then the security guard gets out of the house or out of the car because they're right near the murder house, and it starts creeping and looking in the windows. And this totally freaked Brian out. He's like, I've had enough of this guy. And he drove off, right? He did the noble thing. And what do you know? This guy who happened to have the knife on him that they were using to cut up coke lines. And by the way, cutting up cocaine lines with a K-bar makes no fucking sense. Okay, I've never seen anything like it, and I was addicted to cocaine half my life. Okay, so he leaves, and this guy takes the knife and goes in the house and kills 4 people, and it's not Brian's fault at all. He was trying to do the right thing. As soon as this dude started acting creepy, he left. So now I forgot what she was even talking about, and I got to go back over it to get to the point.
So they lived at the Coffee House Apartments.
Oh, yeah. That's what it is. Brian Kohberger's phone had pinged very close to this security guard's apartment. Okay. That there's a lot of reasons for that. There's stores around that apartment and everything else. And Brian claims he had been going to those stores, shopping there, whatever. But this woman is trying to say that the security guard must have been in on it, because Brian Kohberger's phone pinged right outside his apartment, and he had been there for about 15 minutes. That's why she said, what was he picking him up? So she's claiming that Brian Kohberger was picking up the security guard before the murders.
Doing there. Was he picking him up? And I don't think he worked for Pullman's. He was security. I thought he worked in tech at UI Tech, or the tech department at University of Idaho. But I could be
Yeah, as soon as Shanna heard her say this last night, she was like, why wouldn't they let the kids come home for Christmas? What the fuck?
wrong there too. They changed the story, they changed the person after the first day of putting it out. But why did he want to close for me? And why was he leaving with 2 students if he's 38 and not a student? And is this Brian guilty actually, but going to get off because he's going to turn it on him? Because I think he's got something up his sleeve.
It's just, I can't wrap my head around the fact that, like, because we all thought at 11:58, the roommates woke up, saw the carnage, called the police. No, they were awake 4 hours earlier, and that is huge. That's not in the affidavit.
Yeah, when I called her to
The affidavit. The affidavit. I keep hearing this. It's affidavit. Affidavit. It ends in a fucking T, for Christ's sake. Affidavit. Assholes. And this other channel, they make fun of it, and they're doing it as an inside joke, but they call it an alpha David. You know how I am with words, right? It makes my fucking head want to explode. Sorry about that little rant.
Got the alert at 5 o'clock, and I called her. My husband called, and
Miss Can't Be Wrong, remind me, please, as soon as this is over, because otherwise I have to switch to the video on my phone to give him his wrench back. Casey Robinson, I'm so sorry. I don't know how I did that, but I would never take your wrench away. I don't know who you're talking about, JC. I'm not sure. The guy Mikey? Oh. You blocked some guy, some dude making fun of Lee. Yeah, I don't know who that is. All right, let me get back to this.
she had all of she knew, right? And it was, I think it hadn't sunk in what had happened yet, so she was giving it to me fresh, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, she knew. She'd known since like 10.
Since 10.
She was gone by around 9, between 8 and 9, 10, somewhere in there, because I never saw her. But she supposedly was there. And this is a narrative she fed to my daughter and to whatever friend group she sent it to in Snap. And I don't know, I assume everybody else got one too. But I think they were creating a narrative. And I feel it more so because of what they had put on too. And it was on Twitter, I think, where they had posted it. But I think it's gone. And I did not screenshot it, which I wish I would have. I don't know if you can pull Twitter back. I think they can pull everything back. But the consistency is that I think there are kids on there that are trying to say.
I think if I was involved in a one-on-one conversation between me and this woman, I think I'd probably have a full-blown panic attack. She makes me nervous just listening to her on a fucking video. It talks a mile a minute, makes no sense. She sounds like the female version of Convict Inc. She's crazy. This bitch is rambling the whole fucking time.
This is something different than it's coming out as, but I think they're really afraid. You know, people have to start talking.
And with Hudson Lindo, so
yeah, if it was a trap house, Shanna, yeah, this bitch visited there a few times to pick up some stuff. You know what I mean? Without a doubt, some meth, some Adderall, whatever.
So I had one of his friends message me because I made a video about Hudson, and like everyone saw that video, and I was just talking about, you know, his case and spreading awareness. She messages me and says, just to let you know that this has nothing nefarious to it. It has nothing to do with Sigma Chi. He
notice that this broad interviewing her is taking her completely seriously and believes everything she says. Let me fast forward.
But there's like trees and bushes along the side of it. It doesn't really make sense to me.
Where was it?
They're talking about a creek.
So
I don't know.
I
think another boy.
911 call was made.
Well, the police know about it because they've known since the 13th when I called them. They are now the world's children. They did not deserve this.
Yeah.
And we're stuck with the scum.
She said they are now the world's children, meaning Kaylee, Xana, Ethan, and Maddie.
And we lose these beautiful lights. That's just unacceptable. Mm-hmm. Unacceptable. Yeah. So I will do everything I can. And it's just, you know. Exactly. It's just, well, you're the one doing the hard work. You're out there doing it. And I would call you an investigator, and I would get my PI's license if I were you, because I find you to be very, very effective.
Oh, thank you.
She tells the interviewer, I would get my PI's license if I was you.
In 2020, I just said I'm looking at a bunch of blind kids who need to be in a timeout until they decide to tell the truth. Like, didn't your parents tell you not to lie? You were liars. Our interview was like real. It was a documentary. It was real. It really was.
All right, this is stupid. This is about that Kaylee Gonsalves documentary, or maybe it was Idaho. Yeah, it was Kaylee Gonsalves, I believe. It was mostly her parents. It was interesting, but let me see if there's anything else important.
It was really sad. I mean, I cannot believe the police have done that.
Like, parent that has really come forward to say, like, there's more to the story.
Because I really think I'm right, and if I'm wrong, I apologize. But I believe everything that's been told to me, and I would never lie, and I know that about myself, and I just can't imagine not saying anything. What kind of a mother would I be? What kind of a person would I be if I didn't tell everything I know?
And so when you're
it's good to tell shit you know that's factual, but to just be making stuff up and sounding like a fucking lunatic, tinfoil hat person, you probably should just keep that to yourself. Your stupid fucking theories. This bitch is telling us there was more than one person. Like, you know why? Because your daughter or son or whoever the fuck it is you made up in your head got from Dylan and Bethany that there was more than one person. Listen, I know this was an ongoing investigation and they keep some shit close to the vest, and they're, you know, they need to keep some shit secret so they can catch other people who may be involved. But if there was definitively more than one person involved and anybody got wind of it, I'm pretty sure we would all know. You know what I mean? Other than Brian Kohberger, possibly, and this hasn't even been confirmed that he said it. Somebody put it out there that Brian Kohberger said, was anyone else arrested at the time of his arrest? Did you arrest anyone else? Something to that effect. Some guy, Enton or something, I forget his name, put this shit out there. It's never been confirmed that it was even said. You know what I mean? So that's all we have, if we even have that, to make us believe that there was more than one person involved. Nothing else points to it. That's not why she has tinfoil. Look at Shanna's on a roll today. Beautiful. The one who doesn't want her child home for Christmas. Of course, bro. I want my child home fucking immediately. Are you kidding me? That day. I don't think I will be able to unhear this woman for at least a week, for fuck's sake. I know. Let me play a little more, and I'll be right back. I got to step away for 2 seconds.
Like, does she know that you've, like, talked about this? Like, is she okay with that? Is she open, or is she kind of, like, scared?
She knows it's not enough. And I think that because she's there and she really wants to stay there, I have spoken for her. And so, and I said if it comes down to it and you need to call her in and she needs to be a witness or whatever, well, then we'll handle that at that time. I do not believe, if I believe she did anything wrong, I'd lock her in the police department myself. Trust me on that one. I would. And I don't think she has. I think she's given everything she has. And when she finds something, she tells me. She thinks I am over the top too nervous and worried, and I think she's not worried enough. So we have a little battle there. Mm-hmm. But nature of the beast, right? But yeah. She knows I'm speaking for her. And I tell everybody I am speaking for her, and I believe her. Because
Antonino said, is this stepdaughter pretending she's someone else? Let me see. This is not really important what's going on right now. Let me just give it a second, and then I'll bounce. Oh, Guardino Inc. You think I should make Rat King Cole into a shirt? Done. I'll get it made tomorrow. Thank you for the suggestion, Guardino. I promise you. Well, let me see. Tomorrow's Sunday. If not tomorrow, Monday, I'll have the Rat King Cole shirt. Absolutely. And if you guys want, I'll get a bunch made and we'll sell them. Rat King Cole, picture and all. Done. I don't fuck around. I'm not Convict Inc. I don't need to call Mike DeBella or somebody. Can you finance the Don't Be a Jimmy t-shirts? Oh my God, you're so broke you can't afford to print up some Don't Be a Jimmy fucking t-shirts? Christ almighty. I had my No Chomo shirt like the day after I said I was going to have it made. The fucking guy's on another level of broke. All right, here we go.
That's what all the girls said, and that's the most plausible story. Nothing else makes sense. For her to have opened the door and seen him, and him to walk by her, he would not have done that. He would have killed her.
Mm-hmm.
And if she was frozen, how did she shut the door and lock it? Right?
Well, okay, I agree with her on some of that. She's obviously going against Dylan and making some points, but as far as if he would have seen her and killed, if he would have seen her, he would have killed her. I'm a little confused about what she's saying. I guess she's saying that that's a lie, that Dylan said that she saw him. I don't believe it is. But as far as the if he would have saw her, he would have killed her. I don't believe that either. See, you got to understand, this guy was terrible at what he did. This was a horrible fucking execution of this crime, so to speak. You know, it was horrible because of the simple fact that the guy did everything you could do wrong. He, you know, his phone pinged in that area so many times. He was obviously driving around stalking these girls or whatever with his fucking phone on and with him. Mistake number one. Okay. He left the sheath behind, okay, with his DNA on it. Mistake number two, at least. I'm sure there was a million other ones, but I'm just going over a few. He left a witness behind, but I don't think that was necessarily a mistake. I think that he did that because he had you know, some sort of time frame in his head that he wanted these crimes to be over and done with, you know, in a certain amount of time. Like say he gave himself 15 minutes or not even just that. Not even just that, because the guy's so much of a fuck up, he probably wouldn't have even done that. But he probably felt like too much time was taken. I don't know if he planned on killing 4 people. I don't know. I doubt it. Okay. So let's just say he planned on killing 2. Well, now there's 2 more you got to kill. That's already more time than you want to take. Okay. Now you know you got to get out of there as fast as possible, because I'm sure the screaming was unbelievable, the noise that was made. And anybody who's ever committed a crime, especially in the middle of the night when things are quiet, you don't want noise. You know, as soon as there's a lot of noise, like broken glass or someone screaming or someone hitting a floor in a house that has other people in it, you want to get out of there as soon as possible. Now you know your time's up. It's time to run. Okay, because if 2 fucking sane individuals with brains in their heads lived in that house, rather than Dylan and Bethany, they would have called the cops as soon as they heard anything out of the ordinary. So he's thinking there's 2 sane people with functioning minds still alive in that house. I better get the fuck out of here before they do what any normal person would do and call the police. You know, plus he was exhausted. You listen, I'm not saying that it takes everything out of you. It depends on everything, the kind of shape you're in. This guy was a runner, had great cardio. I'm quite sure it didn't exhaust him as much as it would some people, but I'm pretty sure it still exhausted him. So now you see Dylan. You didn't expect her. Maybe you did. Who knows? But okay, you're going to kill Dylan 2 and take up more time, cause even more screaming and noise. And you're possibly too worn out to do even that. So there's a lot of reasons why. And there's the theory that he might have left her behind to tell the story. A lot of fucking people do that. These killers that are egomaniacs and sociopaths. You know what I mean? There's a lot of reasons I think he left Dylan alive. I definitely believe she could have seen him face to face and he just kept it moving. There's a lot of reasons for it. Simply not wanting to get caught is the biggest reason for it. And he had a face mask on, so he knew what could she give the cops? His height and the top of his head? I mean, there's not much there. It's not like she saw his. If she saw his face, his entire face, I think he would have killed her. Sure, even if it took more time. But going on with the mistakes he made, there was other mistakes. You know what I mean? You're driving around the house for a few hours before you commit the crimes, or a couple of hours, whatever. Before you commit the crimes, you brought your phone with you rather than leaving it at home in your bed or something, or on your dresser. So it's pinging at your fucking apartment. And then later on, you could say, that's my alibi. Wherever my phone is, I am. So my phone was at my apartment. I was at home sleeping. That's where I was. No, this dickhead brings the phone with him, but turns it off. So yeah, it's not pinging, but it's equally a suspicious activity because of our phones never go off, first of all, never. And I'm sure his never did. But yours go off after your car is seen in the area of the murder house around the time of the murders, coming and going. Your phone just happened to be turned off between the times of when your car is seen coming and going. You know what I mean? And between the times of the murder and the first time your car was seen. Your phone goes off a few minutes after the murders. That right there is bad. You know, that's like it might as well be pinging there because anybody's going to say, what a fucking coincidence. We know you were in the area and your phone was shut off during that time. It's as good as if he would have left it on. He's a fucking dummy. And there's a list of other mistakes that I can't think of at the moment, but he made a shit ton of fucking mistakes. A shit ton of fucking mistakes. Oh, I forgot to mention his car. And this is stuff before he even got to the house. You're going to use your own car to commit these crimes. And guys, I believe I heard Nadu or somebody say he was smart to take the front license plate off. No, that's the thing. He wasn't even smart enough to do that. He didn't have a front license plate on because at that time, his car was still registered in Pennsylvania. And in Pennsylvania, they don't require front license plates. It's not even like, oh, he didn't have the front plate on. He was smart. There was no front plate to put on. Trust me, I live in Pennsylvania. We don't have to have a front license plate. Now, after he registered it to Washington a few days before he got caught, maybe he had it on then. Maybe he had to put a front plate on then. I don't know. But, you know, that was after the murders anyway. So I can't think of one thing he fucking did right. Everything was a goddamn mistake. You know what I mean? Just leaving your DNA behind, leaving the sheath behind with your DNA on it. How do you leave a sheath behind? Guys, listen, as kids and stuff, whatever, we would fuck around and carry Bowie knives. I'm sure we all did it. You put it on your fucking belt. That's the point of the sheath. You know what I mean? Put it on your belt. This guy obviously was carrying the knife in the sheath, which is another reason why I say that Dylan, when she saw him, if she saw him, which I believe she did, then when she did, she saw him covered in blood and with a knife in his hand, because where else would the knife be? You're not going to put a knife like that in your pocket. You're going to get sliced all up. So he probably had that knife in his hand, covered in blood, standing in front of Dylan, and maybe even Bethany, because we don't know. You know, there's a lot of stories that Dylan ran to the bottom of the stairs and was yelling because she thought it was Ethan making the noise. She may have seen him too. Okay, he had to be covered in blood and he had to have a knife in his hand, and neither of them did anything. Let me see something. What do you mean, the sheath, Shanna? Like, why did he even bring the sheath? That's a good question too, if that's what you mean. The only reason I could think of would be to fucking conceal it on the way out, at least. You know what I mean? But he couldn't even pull that off because he had it in his fucking hand. I mean, dummy. Unless maybe the sheath was in his pocket with the knife, which is also stupid, and maybe it fell out of his pocket and that's how it wound up in the bed. I don't know, but I'm thinking this dickhead went in there because I think he killed Maddie and Kaylee first. And the sheath was found next to Maddie. So I think he had the knife in his hand in the sheath, pulled the knife out, and had the sheath in his other hand, and during the struggle, dropped it. That's what I'm picturing, honestly. Yeah, exactly. Mini 560, me too. Yeah, he probably wasn't worried about it. His mouth and nose were covered. What can you see? I mean, they can't make it's not enough for them to say that it's a true eyewitness who can ID him. Well, you can ID him from what? Here up? You know what I'm saying? And the guy wasn't an uncommon looking dude as far as that area. He was close to college age. You know, he was studying for his PhD. So that's college age, 28. If you're studying for that, that's pretty common, I think, to be around that age. You know, white guy, brown hair, maybe 6 feet tall. Yeah. Gee, I wonder where you're going to find another one of them amongst thousands of college students. They're everywhere. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. So he probably wasn't worried. He probably said, fuck it. You know what I mean? I'm going to take time to kill another person, have her screaming, have more blood all over the fucking place on me and everything, possibly leave more DNA behind and all that for someone who probably can't ID me anyway. No. Or there's also the theory that maybe she just wasn't part of his plan. Because even if Xana and Ethan weren't, which is my belief, I think at the most it was Kaylee and Maddie, but most likely just Kaylee. You got to kill Maddie. She's in the bed next to Kaylee. The fuck are you going to do? She's probably fighting with you too during the whole thing. All right. Then I in my opinion, he ran into Xana and had to kill her for whatever reason or decided to, or maybe Xana and Ethan were part of the plan too, at least Xana. Maybe he wanted to kill all 3 girls. Xana did get the DoorDash delivery, which he probably saw because they showed his point of perspective where he was probably sitting in his car watching the house. That was at 4:00, that DoorDash delivery. He entered the house at 4:04. So you're going to tell me he didn't see the DoorDash delivery? And the food was for Xana. I think it's pretty much been confirmed that she did order it. So that means she came to the door to get the delivery. He probably saw her in the house, and whether he knew she was going to be there or not, he knew now. So he kills Maddie because he has to. Kaylee was his target, and maybe Xana was as well. Who knows? I don't know. But I know that Dylan obviously just wasn't part of his plan because he passed her fucking bedroom 2 times and didn't enter it at any point or do anything to her. So that's probably why he fucking left her alone. She just wasn't part of the plan. Either that or he was exhausted or he just felt that he had spent enough time there committing these crimes. New beginnings with Shanna. Dissociative amnesia. You remember how to do certain things that are stored in a different part of your brain, i.e. shutting and locking the door. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. It's possible. 2 white girls not calling the cops. Yeah, you don't hear about that very often, do you? The cops might have already been called. He didn't know. Exactly. Yeah, he didn't know. Because like I said, if there was 2 people with fucking brains in that house instead of Dylan and Bethany, they would have called the cops as soon as they heard somebody say someone's in the house, followed by a dog barking, followed by whimpering and crying and a thud. Yeah, for all he knew, the cops had been called the minute the noise started. You know what I mean? He's not going to hang around there. It's a small town, very small town with a lot of cops that have nothing better to do. There's never a cop too far away. I mean, right around that time, there was a cop down the road fucking ticketing some kids in a field for underage drinking. So he didn't know. He didn't know if the cops had been called. Oh, what's up, Wise Guy TV? If I didn't say hello already, how you doing, bro? Good show, FBS. Very informative. Thank you. I know I'm a little bit all over the place, but that's because I don't know either. Like, the big question, I don't believe Dylan was part of his plan or she'd be dead. The big question is, was Xana, Ethan, and Maddie? Because in my opinion, Kaylee was the target, but we don't even know that. Maybe Maddie was the target and Kaylee was in the way and had to go, and then Xana and Ethan for some reason. Or maybe all 4 of them were the targets. I doubt Ethan, honestly. I think that he had no idea Ethan was there because that he didn't live there. He was just spending the night. I think Ethan was killed simply because he was fighting for Maddie, which is very, very sad. But that's what I think. You know what I'm saying? And he just happened to be in the room. I'm sorry, fighting for Xana. Is that what I said? I feel like I said Maddie. You know, it's fucking confusing. But I think Ethan was probably fighting for Xana. And, you know, he had to be. What are you going to do? You can't kill Maddie if Ethan's all over you, right? And I think that's it. I think, if anything, it was the 3 girls that were murdered that were targeted. And, you know, for whatever reason, Dylan wasn't one of them. You got to remember, they say that Dylan had just recently moved into that house. You know what I mean? And it appeared that they all kind of did their own thing. Xana and Ethan, like the night of the murders, the night before, whatever. Xana and Ethan were out together at one place, at some frat party. Kaylee and Maddie were out at the corner club and the grub truck. And Dylan and Bethany were out doing their own thing. So it's not like they all hung out together all the fucking time. You know what I'm saying? So it's very possible that he was just stalking 1 or 2 or 3 of them. I don't know. But we're not going to find out, guys. It's going to be a long time. 5 days later, he registered the car in Washington. I believe he thought that stealth was clean. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he was thinking. But why drive your own car? You steal a car, or renting a car isn't too bright either, but at least rent a car. Drive far away. Drive a couple hours away. Rent a fucking car. You know what I mean? Keep it for a few days after the murders, then return it. Something. But driving your own car is batshit fucking crazy. Because look, it was essentially the car that got him caught. The DNA in the car. Those are the 2 things that got him caught. And guess what? Well, I guess, yeah, the DNA. Yeah. Because of his father, yeah. Or however, they got the DNA off the sheath. So whatever that led to, it obviously led to him in the end. I can't, certain things escape me right now. But that was the main thing. But then a Washington cop, a WSU cop, saw that Elantra parked in front of his house and ran it. You know what I mean? And they found out about Brian. Obviously, the car was registered to him. They checked his license. He seemed to have fit the description Dylan gave, which was a man about 5'10" with bushy eyebrows. Right? And then they started going from there. He's not the clever criminal he thought he was. Ready about something doesn't make you an instant professional. Yeah, no shit. Oh, yeah, around Irish, yeah, without a doubt. Especially a knife like that. Even after killing 4 people, it'll fuck you up. You can't, what are you going to do without the sheath? So it had to be in his hand. I don't believe Dylan just saw a guy standing there. Even in black clothing, guys, blood, that shit's glistening and whatever light is shining on. There was obviously some sort of night light or something on in the kitchen. Dylan probably had her lights on in her room. You know what I mean? There's no fucking way she didn't see that he was covered in covered in blood, and there's no way she didn't see the fucking knife in his hand. There's no way. You could never convince me otherwise. I think they didn't add all that because they didn't need to in the arrest affidavit, the probable cause affidavit. All they really needed to add is that she saw him. And he had bushy eyebrows, and he fit the description of Brian Kohberger. That's it. You know, they don't need to release all the other details, and they wouldn't because, again, you know, we're being forced to coddle and baby fucking Dylan. So they don't want any reason. They don't want to put out any information that'll make people go after her even more. Dave, $5. He had to be sweating very bad. Must have left DNA, I think. Yeah, guys, I will never believe that the only DNA he left behind was on the snap of a button, whatever, of that sheath. There's no fucking way. There's no way. Because even if you got your skin covered up, you know, your touch DNA is all over your fucking clothes, and that shit gets passed from thing to thing. There's no way he could be. Plus, I believe he cut himself. His wrist looked all fucked up in that picture where him and his father got pulled over. So I'm sure his blood is in there somewhere. And his DNA has to be all over the victims. It has to be. You're wrestling with them. We don't even know if the guy was wearing fucking gloves. The way it looks, he probably wasn't. I mean, so there might be fingerprints too. But I know, I just heard like the night before that, they had 150 people in the house. So there's DNA everywhere. Yeah, but if he wasn't at that party, there's 150 people who could say he wasn't there. So if his fucking DNA and blood or and fingerprints are in the house, that's for a reason. It happened the night of the murders. I don't know. But he had to leave DNA. Anything you touch, your DNA is on it. When I take this shirt off, I put my DNA on it just by taking it off or putting it on. You know what I mean? Even if you wore gloves, guys, you got to remember, you got to touch those gloves to put them on. And from your skin cells and everything else that are left behind, your DNA is now on those articles of clothing or whatever. And then if you're wrestling around with somebody, you're fighting with them, that DNA gets on them. I mean, it's just the way it works. That's why DNA is a bitch if you're a criminal. You can't escape it. Oh, fucking hair falls out of your head. Anything. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe they just found it on the sheet. I think they only added that to the arrest affidavit because that's all they needed to add. You know what I mean? Because maybe that's the specific DNA they tested. Maybe that's the only thing they tested with DNA on it to get a match to Brian Kohberger. But that doesn't mean that's all the DNA they found. And yeah, the sweating, of course, Dave, especially when you're sweating. And there's no way he wasn't sweating. That DNA has to be everywhere. But didn't open or eat delivery. Nah, maybe she was getting ready to. Maybe she was fucking around on TikTok. Like they said, she was on TikTok at 4:12. Which is crazy because I'm assuming if he entered the house at 4:04, then while she was on TikTok, Kaylee and Maddie were probably being murdered. But maybe she was going to go out and eat it. Who knows? And there's always the theory that maybe it really wasn't her that ordered it. And she didn't want the shit, but she just took it because it was paid for and shit anyway. You know what I mean? Like, all right. Worst case scenario, I'll throw it out. Well, thank you, Miss Can't Be Wrong. I'm not the best at this, but I'm doing my best. You know what I mean? I'm doing my best. My thing is, obviously, the thing about me, it seems to appeal to everyone, is my opinions on shit, my strong, mindedness, my fucking, my attitude about things like this. So that's what I'm here to do, give you my opinions on it. Because I know that most of this stuff I talk about, you guys have already seen on other channels. New beginnings with Shanna, my beautiful wife. Ted Bundy killed 2 and injured 6 sorority girls. Walked out, no reason other than being sick. And there was more girls. In the house not touched. He also lived on campus and was in criminal law. Yeah, it's very similar, right? Robert B., what's up? Yeah, Root Irish. Yeah, very good comparison. Yeah. The best way to not get caught is don't kill 4 people at all. Well, listen, I was joking with Shanna the other day, and I said, if there's one thing this case has taught us, it's do not kill 4 beautiful white people in America. Don't, because they're gonna find you. That's taboo. You cannot do it. Don't kill. It's anathema, I should say. It's anathema. Don't kill 4 beautiful white people in America, especially white college kids who quite possibly come from well-to-do families. They will hunt you down to the ends of the earth, and they will find you, and they will make you pay. Okay, wrong people to kill. Nah, she can't really, Wise Guy TV. They're going to toss that. Oh, he had bushy eyebrows. That's not going to be effective in the trial at all. She's not going to be effective in the trial at all anyway. Her and Bethany, they're going to, whatever they have to say isn't going to mean shit. Because the defense is going to say, well, if you knew all this stuff was going on and you saw all these things, why didn't you call the fucking cops? And nobody, I repeat, nobody, including any prospective juror, is ever going to fucking understand why, or even try to understand why this bitch didn't call the cops. At least Dylan, possibly Bethany too. So, no matter what they say, it's not going to be good enough, because we all want to know why the fuck she didn't do it. And I can't think of any possible reason that would make any type of sense. Yeah. And, yeah. That's right. Mini 560. They had his phone number from another stop. I believe he got stopped in August by a Washington cop. And they had his phone number from that. And then they went through AT&T, and they were able to, start tracking the history of his phone, his locations and stuff. Joyce Perkins, FBS, I think he was holding the knife up his sleeve only because his long cut on his arm that you could see in the video when he was in the car with his dad. That's a good point, Joyce. Maybe he had it up his sleeve. Yeah, it's very possible. But you think he put it back up his sleeve to walk out? I don't know. I would think he's just in a rush holding it in his hand. But to start out with, Joyce, you might be right. Bro, I think she did see him, but she was so scared she hid till someone came over. Yeah, but you're telling me nobody could come? Wouldn't the best people to come over at that time be the police? You know what I'm saying? I understand what you're saying, Wise Guy TV, but that doesn't make sense as an excuse for her, because 911 is always open. Okay, all your friends might be sleeping, but the first person to call in a situation like that would be the police. They'll be right there, I promise you. You know what I mean? So I don't understand hiding till someone came over. You have the same power at that very moment to make people come over as you do hours later. Sure, maybe some of your friends might be sleeping, but again, the obvious answer would be the police. I just can't find a fucking reasonable explanation for it. I can't. Gas can lip. I dig your scratching. It's cool. Our error was of scratching was great stuff. Haha. It was, bro. And thank you, man. Thank you very much for that. Brian is screwed, Petey, most likely. Al Hayam Putz, senses are heightened, vision and perception probably better than usual. Probably. Seen the blood. Wait, I might have missed one of your comments. No, I didn't. I'm not sure. New beginnings with Shanna. Why isn't anything being said about the other girl that survived? Well, because I'll tell you why. Because people are still stuck on this arrest affidavit, the probable cause affidavit, and they're thinking that if Dylan would have seen anything or heard anything, she would be in the affidavit. But no, you got to remember, that was a bare bones document. They put just enough to get a probable cause or an arrest warrant. I'm sorry. Just enough. They didn't need to add anything else. If they thought they needed to add other shit, they would have. They wouldn't have taken the chance of not being able to get the warrant. There's no way. So people, forget that we don't know it all yet. There's a good chance that fucking Bethany ran right into him too. But we're not going to find out anytime soon. So people, they're just not talking about her because they haven't heard any, solid evidence that she witnessed anything. But is there any possibility she didn't? Let's be honest. I think people are underestimating the amount of noise that had to have been coming from that house. Every girl, I'm quite sure, was screaming to the top of her fucking lungs. Okay, I'm sure Ethan was fucking screaming and fighting. There had to be fucking shit getting knocked over, maybe glass broken, people hitting the floor, whatever, screams. There's no fucking way Bethany was just chilling downstairs and didn't know. And they even said that there's a good, it came from some credible sources, from what I understand, that at the very least, Bethany heard, I guess when she heard Murphy barking, she yelled either shut the fuck up or something like that to Ethan, because she thought he was playing with the dog and making noise. But I'm sure she heard the screams and stuff. That's why I told you. I can't wait to see the phone records between Dylan and Bethany. I want to see if they were texting each other, like, you know, even after the murders. What should we do? You know what I mean? Obviously, something bad just happened. Do we call the cop? Like, I want to see. And even if they were texting each other during it, and they both agreed not to come out of their rooms, and they both agreed eventually not to call the cops, I can't wait to find all that shit out. Jesse Roth, I honestly disagree, only because there's so many explanations for the sheet. And I'll tell you right now what he could say and what they can use. I was at a knife show recently, and I handled a bunch of knives. Maybe that's how it got on it. Or I did own that K-bar, but it got stolen from my apartment. So my DNA would be on it, and obviously the killer used that knife. You know what I mean? Or I let a friend borrow it, or it got stolen out of my car. Any fucking thing. I sold it, whatever. Or what they're doing right now. It's the security guards, and I was handling it because we were cutting up lines of cocaine in my car. I think that's not going to be too effective, that sheath, believe it or not. I think they better have DNA from some other areas of that murder scene. Otherwise, I don't know how effective that's going to be, because, listen, I could go to a store right now and look at a knife and handle it and then put it back. And then somebody buys that knife and goes and kills somebody with it. Then guess what? They're going to find my DNA on it. And at the very least, I'm going to be a suspect. And I'm fucked because my DNA is in the system already. So, but it's very possible. Why do you think, listen, guys, you ever see when somebody sells a gun or lets a friend hold it or some shit, they fucking wipe it off thoroughly? Now, that might not help with DNA, but at least fingerprints. You know what I'm saying? You never want to pass a gun off without cleaning that motherfucker as good as you can. I believe black nitrate gloves was one was found. Wait a minute. I believe black nitrate gloves, one was found out back. They took one from his house. Yeah, I'm hearing that's a rumor, though. I don't know if it's true. And the one that they found out back, according to the police, that was one of the cops were using those gloves to, you know, go through everything. So they were saying that there was actually multiple gloves that the cops were just taking off and, I guess, throwing on the ground. I don't know. I don't know how solid that is yet. Remember, the redacted pages have more evidence, could be more DNA. Exactly, Wise Guy TV. Those pages were redacted for a reason. And I think a good part of that reason is because of the other stuff about the other roommates, you know, besides just Dylan saying she saw him and all that horse shit. Guys, 2 hours and 12 minutes, 148 people. If you can afford to donate to this show right now, please do. I'll accept any form of payment. PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Zelle, Super Chat, Super Sticker. Buy a membership to the channel if you'd like. If you like what you're watching. Whatever you could do to help support this channel, I'd appreciate it. It's necessary, unfortunately. I still can't get my head around the fact that Dylan went back to sleep for 7+ hours. There's more to this, bro. Yes, I agree. There is. There's something. If there is an explanation, that explanation is going to involve some illegal shit, I'm assuming, honestly. You know, I mean, I'm not saying it was a trap house, but maybe she was scared of them finding drugs. Maybe she was under the influence of a ton of shit. You know what I mean? Her and Bethany both. Maybe, I don't know. I don't fucking know. Who knows? But it was either she was terrified and in shock and couldn't do anything, and if you're in shock, you're not going to sleep, by the way. So that's out. You're either terrified. Even then, terrified, I don't understand how you sleep. None of it makes sense. She fucking went to sleep. If I see a guy in my house in black clothing covered in blood with a knife in his hand, you think I'm sleeping anytime soon? Fuck no. And I'm a man, for fuck's sake. You're telling me she slept? It doesn't make sense. I wish these fucking cops would at least release that shit. You know what I mean? Release why they didn't call the cop. Why wouldn't you? You're just going to let these two girls be tortured in the media and on YouTube and everything else? If there's a good reason for why they didn't call the cops, why aren't you telling us? But there you go. Probably because there isn't a good reason. Probably because they're still trying to figure out how the fuck they're going to explain that at trial without the defense taking it apart piece by piece. Let me see. I just got a little something. I don't want to shout out your full name, sir, unless you have in the message what your screen name is. I'm just going to call you William. $10 from William. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. And I think you have donated before, but not very often. So thank you. This case is extremely addictive, bro. Listen, every day I'll go to YouTube multiple times and I'll put in Idaho murders or Brian Kohberger, and then I'll use the filter and go to last hour just because I only want to see new shit. And I'm telling you, the more shit I see, the more I realize that it's all bullshit. You know what I mean? With the exception of the stuff we found out right after his arrest, most of the stuff since is going to wind up being rumors or speculation. It's, you know, it's not going to be factual at all. We're going to find out a bunch of horse shit. You know what I mean? And it's not even worth watching at this point because we're not learning anything new, guys. Let's face it. The only information we can count on is stuff from the investigation and law enforcement, and they're not letting any of that out. So we got until June 26th, man, and that's a hell of a long time. That's a really long time. I don't know. By the way, guys, oh shit. Your boy FBS, as of today, is 43 months clean and sober. I thought about it last night. I'm very happy about that. I never imagined I'd have this much time. Before you know it, I'll have 4 years. 43 months clean and sober. That's awesome. Stephen Cordell, $10 for sup. What's up, bro? Thank you, man. Thank you. That Dylan probably, oh my God, I can't deal with this. I'm going back to bed. Yeah, I don't know. I would love to see the interview by the FBI of Dylan. I'd give anything. I'd probably pay $500 right now to see that shit. I swear to God. Gas Can Live. Hey, there is an old interview from decades ago called Joey Confessions of a Mafia Hitman, full interview. I heard he was killed near a horse. I don't know, but I know exactly what you're talking about. I've seen it. MRE is doing a live right now talking shit about Howie. Oh, Jesus. Well, I guess we know what tonight's show is going to be about then, huh? Actually, it is Don't Kill a Beautiful Blonde Girl. Look at Gabby. True. Yeah. Very true. Yeah. These are the cases we hear about. You know what I mean? I told you guys, if these, well, I don't know. I think this case might have been big, even if there was 3 porkers in the house or some shit. Who the fuck knows? But not this big. Not this big. And again, if this was 3 minorities or something, fuck out of here. You wouldn't hear about it. You might not even hear about it in the local paper, but that would be at most. You know what I'm saying? You got fucking 3 gorgeous young white girls in a house and a good looking, 19, 20-year-old kid. I don't know. He might be 21, whatever. Who's got his whole life ahead of him and a very promising future. It's going to be a big fucking story. Same thing, Gabby Petito, beautiful blonde girl. You know what I'm saying? There's cases exactly like Gabby Petito's case that go on every day in this country. You know what I mean? But it just depends on who it's happening to. Not exactly, you know what I mean? But cases like that where, a young girl is killed by a boyfriend or some shit, or even goes missing for a while before they find her. But the media picks and chooses based on a lot of things. 6 killed in California a couple of days ago in Cali, but drug dealers, so no news. Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, this case has all of the ingredients to make it a major, at very least national news case. It just does. There's a lot of mystery, sex, and when I say sex, I just mean, listen, if there's beautiful women involved, that's what it equates to. You know what I mean? And beautiful women in general. You know what I mean? That's what the world revolves around. It really fucking does. So, and young girls who, like I said, probably come from fairly well-to-do families. It's not like this was 4 people in the middle of the ghetto some fucking where. You would have never heard about it. You know what I'm saying? Probably, Petey. Or imagine if we find out she was completely clean and sober. Oh my God, she might as well just leave the country. Robert B, $3 super sticker. Thank you, Robert B. Yeah, Arthur the Greek, Gunsmoke was just telling me about that today. I actually had no idea about the Murdaugh family. I didn't. I got to check that out. Yeah, Antonino, me too. Even if she's paralyzed with fear, 20, 30 minutes tops. Let me see. Yeah, Rat Irish, without a doubt. Oh, yeah, Petey. Benjamin Franklin. Maybe there was always fighting in the house. That could be why they didn't do anything. Or maybe they were high. Well, that would be a possible excuse if it wasn't for the fact that Dylan saw a stranger in the house with a mask on in all black clothing, most likely soaked in blood with a knife in his hand. That's where, as soon as we found that out, that's when it was like, oh yeah, there's no excuse now. None whatsoever. But even if there's fighting, I mean, I don't know. She heard them say there's someone in the house. And that was most likely Kaylee that said that. And she probably said it because Murphy started going ape shit. You know what I mean? So now you hear there's someone in the house. You hear the dog barking, which, listen, I know my dog. You never hear my dog bark unless there's someone outside very close to the house talking or somebody enters the house the dog doesn't know. Okay, so you hear there's someone in the house. You hear the dog barking, followed by a strange man saying, "It's okay, I'm going to help you," followed by whimpering, crying, and a loud thud. Then you see a stranger in the house with a mask on and all black, most likely covered in blood with a knife in his hand. I mean, it's a lot of shit, man. Like, okay, if this didn't get you, you would think this would, or this, or this, or this, or this. Or how about that? How about you put them all together and say, uh-oh, something terrible just happened to my roommates. I better call somebody. Imagine if this Brian guy has a friend who snitched him out. Angel will end up attacking that guy instead of the killer. Isn't that some ass backwards logic? Listen, not to get into the mob tube business because I love what we're doing here throughout this whole show, but I heard this chick, Angel, was bitching the other night that El Chapo is being treated inhumanely because he's being kept in solitary confinement. And she said, that's exactly what they did with my father. El Chapo? Angel. The kid, the guy, he probably killed more people than cancer, and not to mention all the destruction and shut up, Angel. All right, that's all I got to say about that. He wore gloves all the time. Well, beforehand too, Minnie, or just after? Because I know afterwards they followed him through a grocery store in Pennsylvania. He had gloves on, stuff like that. Did he wear them before the murders too? I'm not sure. After the murders, it's obvious why. Once he got pulled over twice in Indiana, he knew they were on his ass. He knew it. So once he got back to Pennsylvania, he was walking around wearing gloves in stores and all that shit, so as not to leave his DNA behind. I guess he didn't realize they already had ways to get it, familial DNA, and he had no idea they took his father's fucking trash from his parents' house, well, his parents' trash, and found his father's DNA that matched the DNA on the sheath. You know what I mean? So, Robert B., I got it. Thank you, bro. There's our information if you'd like to donate to me or Shanna. Well, thank you, Petey, but even I don't know every detail yet. I'm doing my best. I'm still learning shit. Yeah, I got Robert B. Let me make sure. Yeah, Robert B. Thank you, sir. People are yelling at me in the chat. Let me see. I don't think I would be sleeping yet. No. Could you imagine? Like, Jesus, I'm trying to put that comment up. Yeah, I mean, it's just so absurd. For us to believe what they're telling us is absurd. She saw him and said, "Fuck this, I'm going back to bed." LOL. Yeah, apparently. And that's why I say, like, you know, this fucking insistence on keeping all this information secret is what's leading to crazy lunatics like the bitch I just played you. Because let me tell you something, when people don't have all the details, they start to create their own. And we know just from politics and shit the last few years that there is no shortage of conspiracy theorists in this fucking country. The QAnon shit. I mean, you got flat earthers, you got fucking, come on. The people that, well, make certain claims about the election, all types of shit. You know what I mean? This country is filled with tinfoil hat people. Right? So when you don't give them the details, they'll start to create their own story and narrative. And now you got lunatic bitches going on fucking shows telling absurd fucking stories. And the problem is half the people in this country are stupid. So those people are going to believe the shit. And then they push it. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good for the victims. It's not good for the survivors. It's not good for law enforcement. It's not good for anyone. But like I said, when you create a situation like this where it's a huge national news story, a case that a lot of people have invested themselves in, a lot of time and everything else spent on this case, and then you tell them, that's it, we're not telling you anything more, 6 months till you get more information. Well, then you spawn a bunch of assholes. That's what happens. Yeah, me too, Miss Can't Be Wrong. They're roasting MRE. Oh, I'm sorry. They're roasting Mr. Howie now. I hate these people. We'll take care of that. No worries. We all got Howie's back. We'll take care of it. Oh, yeah, I feel you, Benjamin Franklin. Second Amendment for these scenarios. Yeah, well, yeah, I know. And that's why this dickhead got very lucky, because if Ethan would have been a different type of guy, this guy would have got met with some gunfire, you know what I mean? And his plan would have been foiled real quick. But you can't blame, I mean, you know, college kids like that, they're usually not walking around strapped, you know what I mean? Plus, he's comfortable in his girlfriend's house. Like, in some Dylan pics is, in others not so much. I know what you mean. Like, listen, I have my own opinions on that. My wife might not be listening, so I won't, or might be listening, so I won't express them. But yeah, Dylan is without a doubt a smoke show. Okay, it's just her lips. I know, and people are making all types of fun of her fucking lips because it looks to be that she got lip injections and stuff. Some of the pictures, yeah, her face looks a little silly, but I don't believe in, you know, making fun of the girl because of her appearance, especially, first of all, if you've seen the rest of her, you know that kind of makes up for some funny lips. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of pictures out there. But, you know, we could talk shit because she did something egregious in this case by doing nothing after these murders or during them. But I'm not going to make fun of her fucking appearance, especially since it doesn't make sense if you look at her. I mean, there's really nothing to make fun of. But they're torturing her about those lips. It's stupid. Didn't Dylan say she came face to face with him and went back to bed? Yes. Throwing gloves on the ground, very unprofessional. The police. Well, I could be wrong about that, but I know when they first, a reporter actually, or a podcaster found a glove outside of the house and took a picture, a black glove. And the cops came out and said that was one of their gloves. So I don't know. Thank you, Minnie. Thank you for the congrats on the 43 months. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me. It might not seem like much to a lot of people, but I never imagined I'd have that. I celebrate each month on the 21st, you know? Congrats on your time, bro. I hope we can chat in person someday. Me too, man. Thank you. Thank you, Antonino. Yeah, bro. Almost 4 years. I can't believe it. Keep working, William. Maybe we can help you out. You can be sober too, bro. Trust me. Oh, that's all right, Miss Can't Be Wrong. Thank you, Benny Diova. Let me get down here. No, there was 4 minorities slaughtered in a house last week. I saw an article. They were all young. Yeah, but what have you seen since? There's not much you're going to find out. It's not going to be like this. Oh, Trevor Smith, of course. Yeah, of course. But listen, that's how the world works. I mean, it's just the way it is. I remember I heard a story once about Elizabeth Smart. I think I told this on here about right around the same time she was kidnapped. Yeah, I told this story, I think. A little black girl was kidnapped around the same time. She was taken a few miles from her house. She was locked in a basement or something like that. This little black girl, and I think she was like 7 or 8, figured out how to escape and walked home, found her way home, and saved herself. Nobody ever heard about that case. It was like nothing. It was like just a local thing. It's crazy, right? Yes, Route Irish Olders 2015 is about 8 years ago, or maybe 2016, so 7-8 years ago. Yeah, we've all been 22. Yeah, we certainly have. You should hit 4 years by the first trial. Congrats. Yeah, I will be 4 years clean and sober before the fucking preliminary in this case. Unbelievable, right? Oh, Miss Charlie Steen, I'm not surprised. Yeah, that's why I said at the very least the national. Yeah, I'm sure it's an international case. It's going to be interesting what happens in the coming months. It is. And don't get me wrong, some stuff will be leaked by law enforcement and shit, but we won't be able to tell bullshit from truth because there's going to be so many fucking conspiracy theories, in between and right along with the true shit. Let me see. New beginnings with Shanna. That is my wife. Maybe someone was into bad shit and they were told just stay in your room if you ever hear shit. It's possible. It's very possible, actually, Shanna. Kane Shades did a video on Howie, huh? Yeah, we'll take care of that, too. Yes, you should, FBS. There's one hell of a story behind all of Murdaugh murders. Yeah, I'm going to get into it. I'm going to start watching shit today. El Chapo. The trash they got from his parents' house was a trash bag he threw in his neighbor's can. Was it? I actually wasn't sure if they got any trash out of the neighbors. Interesting, though. Yeah, I know, Petey. I know. But you know what I'm saying? Just in this country, there's so much. There's so much. Is Kim is the name of the WSU mom, right? I believe so, Petey. Yeah, there's, these people, like, there's no shortage of them. Look at every time there's a school shooting. These fucking assholes come out of the woodwork with the theories. You know what I mean? Like, the Alex Jones crowd. That's what I'm talking about. No offense to any of my listeners. I love you all. But if you listen to Alex Jones, you got to get your head checked. Okay? If you ever listen to him, he's a fucking raving lunatic. He's a madman. And, it takes away from a lot of real conspiracy theories. There's a lot of real conspiracies that have taken place in the history of America and the history of the world. But again, they're diluted with all this horse shit that's put out there. When people start to question every single fucking thing, it's like, all right, now you're going overboard. Oh, I can give Casey Robinson his wrench back now. Is he in the chat currently? If so, Casey Robinson, drop a comment, please, sir. All right, let me see. Now I will change the title of this show. I told Gunsmoke, he said, what are you going to do your show about? I said, I don't know. I'm just going to title it Let's Talk. We'll see what pops up. I never imagined it would be 2.5 hours of Idaho murders talk. Shanna is going to fucking kill me, especially if I plan on coming back on tonight. I don't see Casey Robinson. I need him to drop a comment. Dylan apologists will be everywhere. My older brother was excusing her actions when we discussed the case a few days ago. He isn't crazy. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Yeah, it's everything I hear. Oh, poor Dylan. Let's take it easy on Dylan. Thank you, War. Trevor Smith, 5 pounds. Congratulations on the 43 months, bro. Thank you, thank you. Not one thing since Mini 560 about the minorities, of course. 6 Mexicans, including little baby, killed in California, talked about for 2 days, and that's that. Guys, listen. I got to be careful about even telling these stories, but I'm going to be blunt here. I'm going to fucking come right out with it. There was a thing that the right-wingers started doing years ago. Where's the outrage? Have you seen this anywhere? And what they were talking about specifically is the outrage anytime a white person does anything to a black person, like kills one. You know what I mean? Outrage everywhere. All the major news networks are talking about it. It's a huge fucking thing. You know what I mean? If a cop shoots a black person, whatever. Okay? But there's many, many egregious fucking acts committed in the reverse, you know, or in the opposite, black people to white people. So some of these media outlets would say, where's the fucking outrage? What about this case? And it's funny because the way the media is formed and the way they do things, very liberal and stuff, the most of the majority of them, we don't hear about some very twisted fucking cases. But any little thing that happens, you know, the other way is blown up and turned into a very, very big deal, even if it's just common everyday shit, simply because of the race factor. Okay. I was telling Gunsmoke earlier, there's a story that I can't get too detailed into, but I'll tell you this. It was a young white girl, I think 19, and a young white kid. You know, they had met through friends or something before, and they decided to go on a date. So they decided to meet in a parking lot, right? They meet in a parking lot. And while they're in this parking lot, there's like 5 or 6 black people, I think, you know, I think 4 men, 2 women, something like that. And they see them and they decide we're going to carjack them. Okay. But in the process of carjacking this young girl and her date, they decide, well, we need to take them with us because they know who we are and all this shit. They take these 2 white kids back to a house. And if I told you the list of things they did to them over like a 12-hour period, I'm talking about the R word to the guy with a broomstick. They gang-ard the girl. Okay. They, I think they did something with her mouth, which led them to pour bleach down her fucking throat. They tortured these 2 for nothing. Then they couldn't get them into a barrel. So what do you think they did? They broke all of their bones to shove them into a barrel. They did most of this while both of them were alive, except I believe they killed one in front of the other at some point. Okay. Except for a few right-leaning media outlets, nobody ever heard of this story. Then there was a case like a year ago where this white kid, I think he was, I'm going to say either, I want to say he was 5 years old. I believe he was. And he was out in his front yard on his bike. Okay. This neighbor happened to be a black guy. I believe he lived across the street, who had no beef with the kid's father as far as anybody could figure out. Like, they knew each other in passing, but they never had any beef. This black dude walks over and blows this kid's head off. No reason. That shit wasn't a news story for 5 fucking minutes. It was in local news. It might have been in some national outlets for a very short period of time, but that's it. It's crazy the way they pick and choose, like I said. Now, if that would have been reversed, if a white guy would have done that to a black kid, holy shit. Can you imagine? They might have publicly executed him, honestly. Let me get down here. Someone is starting rumors that he was doing drugs with someone as his reason for being by the house. Yep. The Sit Down a Crime History podcast. What's there to take away? It's easy on there's absolutely no reason she shouldn't call. You cannot describe any reason why not to call the cops. She was negligent, in my opinion. Agreed, absolutely, without a doubt. I think we all agree on that. It was actually a family member of his that came out with it first. Well, yeah, we don't know that, though. They say that they were. You're talking about the story about the doing drugs in the parking lot, and then the security guard went in and killed everybody. It was an anonymous post that the person said they were a relative of Brian Kohberger's, but we don't know that. Could have been anyone. The left-wing media sees any reporting of POC issues as making them all look bad. The LA City Council, mostly Mexican, were caught saying the N-word, and it was ignored after 1 week. Yeah, of course. Oh, my God. Mob Entertainment Group. Could you imagine? Oh, Casey's here? Okay. There you go, buddy. Sorry, once again. There are hundreds of cases like that, FBS. You'd be shocked. Oh, I know. And trust me, I actually wouldn't be that shocked because I research a lot of them. Anytime I hear about one, yeah, I know. It's fucking nuts. It really is. I don't know what the fuck happened to this country. I gotta be honest, but it's insane. You're absolutely right about people who have cooperated. Content on here would dry up pretty quickly without them. Not saying it's right, but it happens and many more things have come to light. Yeah, absolutely. Joe Collin, who is that? The zebra murders was also black on white. It doesn't really get talked about either. Oh, I'm sure. It's just the way it is. It's like, oh, that's all right. You know, the black guy killed him. Oh, that's right. But this white guy did what? Like, what the fuck? The Sit Down a Crime History podcast, $5. You ever hear of Travis the Chimp? Oh, I know that story well, Jeff. Yeah, and I'll give you one better. If you guys go look. Oh, man, I wish I could find it. I think they took it off YouTube, though, because I tried to find it recently. I knew about that story since it first happened. That's the story where the woman had this chimp that was pretty much full grown, and a friend came over to drop something off or something, and for whatever reason, Travis the chimp attacked her, and he destroyed her. I think he tore her hands off, he tore her face off, tore her eyes out, everything. Tongue, I believe, everything. And they wound up shooting the chimp after a while. You know what I mean? The cops came there. The fucking chimp was trying to get into a car. It was a crazy fucking story. And they wound up shooting him. And he went back into the house, I believe, into like his cage or something and died. But here's a crazy one, bro. Adam Lanza called a radio station not long before the Sandy Hook school shooting and spoke about Travis the Chimp on this show. And if you heard him, it's that flat affect that I don't want to say what it comes from, but it's very, very odd, eerie, flat affect while he's speaking about it. And he seems to be equating it to school shooters, and it's a very bizarre story. Or a phone call. I'm sorry. Let me see if it's on here. Because you guys would love to hear that. I'm sure. Motherfucker. Wait a minute. Let me see if this is it. Hang on. Yeah, I can't seem to find it, but you guys got to look it up. Oh, wait. There might be a little excerpt of it here. Hold on, guys. I don't want to get a copyright strike. I don't know. I just lost it. I don't know what the fuck happened. Anyway, if you guys ever get a chance, look it up. It's really it's really disturbing. I don't know what the fuck happened.
There are new and chilling details about the gunman's.
Yeah. All right. Let me see if I can find you guys at least a little excerpt. Nah, none of the news outlets quoted it. They just read it, but like a transcript. I'm sorry. None of the news outlets played it. They just quoted it. You know what I'm saying? They didn't play the actual call. It was like they read a transcript, but it's got to be somewhere you could find it. It used to be on here because I listened to it several times, but it's a very disturbing fucking phone call. FBS, the same goes when it's male versus female. If you take the Bucks County case and the dude did a few days ago, that was 4 young men. It was national news for just a couple of weeks. Oh, I know about that case. You talking about? I think I know which one you're talking about. I'm not sure. I don't want to say the wrong thing. Yeah, I guess that's all it is, Paul Atkinson. I read that his owner died of a broken heart. Her husband, only daughter, the friend that was attacked, and Travis are all dead. Holy shit. Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. She loved him very, very much. Based on the John Gotti tapes, would you consider him a rat? A dry snitch, maybe. Like 15 years ago, I called into Alex Jones' show. The first thing I asked was, do you really believe the lizard people rule the world, BS, or do you say this all for money? I got hung up on, of course. All right, guys, listen, I got to get the fuck out of here. This is insane. 3 hours? The fuck am I thinking? Let me just do something first. I got something here. From Steve Moore. Yeah, I saw you in the chat, so I could say it's Steve Moore, Saturday Sawbuck. Thank you. I appreciate you. And Dave, if I missed your super chat yesterday, I think it was yesterday, I'm so fucking sorry. I don't know why that happens with you. I do that all the time. But I saw you left a super chat I didn't remember reading, so I apologize and thank you. Cosmo Donardo. Yeah, that's the one I thought you were talking about. Exactly. I know that case well. Yeah, that motherfucker was insane, bro. Was insane. And yeah, I know what you mean about that not being, you heard nothing about that compared to this. But I know that case very, very well. Fucking lunatic. Why bring up the Gottis? That's dull. Enjoy the content without them injecting into the conversation. Yeah, it's not necessary. So do you think the husband in the Brighton axe murder of his wife was guilty? I'm not sure if I know that one. Brighton? I'm not sure. Are you talking about, you're not talking about the Brian Walsh and Walsh thing, are you? You want to hear about crooked prosecutors and law enforcement, the Memphis 3, I think that's what it's called. Oh, yeah, I know. Another fucked up case. Yep. Lizards are real, dude. All right, guys, that's it. I'm done. I'm out of here. 2 hours and 49 minutes. I should be ashamed of myself. Thank you guys for being here. I hope you enjoyed this. Turned out to be an Idaho murder show, and I loved it. It's a fucking... It's such a nice thing after all the shit talking and drama and beef that goes on. But I'm sure we'll be back to that tonight if Shanna doesn't kill me. So thank you guys for everything. Thank you for everybody who donated. You guys make these shows possible. Without you, I would be working in a factory. So, and you wouldn't have anything to watch. So thank you. I love you all. And until next time, salute.